right, what's up, y'all? Thanks for tuning in. For the first time, we are live on IG. So we are now live on Facebook, YouTube, and IG at the same time. What is IG telling me? We're telling your followers that you started a live video. Hang on, we're telling more followers to join your video. All right, cool. So we are continuing part 5 of the Temperament Series. Today we're going to talk about purpose drive in your dogs. And also, as quite a few of you know, also remember, if you're on IG, so far it looks like I can see your comments because I'm doing that with my phone. If you're on Facebook, best thing to do for me to see your comments and questions is to go ahead and join on the YouTube channel, Thor Bullies YouTube, and then that way you can I can see your comments. Sometimes StreamYard will show me your comments on Facebook. Other times it doesn't. It's kind of 50-50. Then there's times where they show your comments or your questions, but it won't show who's asking. It just shows a little Facebook symbol. So, but for the first time, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, and IG all at the same time. So I want to thank everybody for joining in. Matter of fact, who we got in here on IG? I see Gangway Bullies. I see what is that? A+ Bullies. So thank you guys for joining in. I don't know. Let's see. It looks like what's up, man? Thanks for joining in, Gangway. And then on YouTube, we got Massachusetts Fishing and Growing. What's up, man? Thanks for joining in. We got Hayes, ECBK, or BCBK. I need to put my glasses on. Dom's in the house as usual. What's up, man? Thanks for joining in. Let's see here. We got Biscuit Bullies. Said ain't nothing like church on a Tuesday. Good looking brother for talking time out, or for taking time out your day to bless us. Man, no problem. I'm glad you guys join in. You know, we have these discussions every Tuesday for Dog Talk Tuesdays. Some of you know. What's up, Eric? Man, thanks for joining in. Some of you know we picked up 2 new additions to Thor Bullies. We picked up both new additions came from Mystic Moon Bullies. Shout out to Luna and Ryan, her husband. They're doing a great job over there. A few people asked me where the dogs came from. Before we get into the Temperament Series, a few people asked me where the dogs came from, what made you choose the dogs you chose. Other people also wanted to know why we would have chose an adult female. The female, she'll be 2 years old. Her name is Xara. She'll be 2 years old in August. And came from, basically her parents came from Royal Crest Bullies. Her father is a scatterbred dog, but her mother is Hella, also owned by Royal Crest. Hella, also owned by Mystic Moon Bullies. She's a lot of gray line, watchdog, actually gray line and blue line. Sorry. So I'm a big fan of the gray line dogs, and that is one of the reasons that we made the choice on picking her up. I've dealt with not only Luna for quite some time, but I've also dealt with some of her clients who were having issues with the drive levels of the dogs, which is something that she wants to bring down. Let's see, IG just paused due to poor connection, but oh well. But that's something that she's been looking to bring down. So, but I like what she's got going on there, and looks like IG just kicked out my video. Let's see here. We'll try to go back, but actually forget it. We'll wait till we get that. We're gonna stick with the regular live. Bam. But yeah, so that was one of the reasons I did want to get the gray line blood due to the drive. The dogs do exude. The dog does exude gray line. The energy, everything I've known about gray line since the mid to late 90s. And she's just a good-looking dog, good-looking specimen, good structure. She's not as massive as the bully community likes, but I'm not worried about that. That is something that we're not lacking in our program, so that part I'm not worried about. but her structure, her energy is on point. As far as taking in an adult dog, I always say that is, or a dog, over the age of a year. I always say that's something that you need to be careful with. You do need to be experienced with it. Just like when you go to rescue a dog from a rescue. Unfortunately, when you turn to a rescue or a pound to rescue an older dog, 9 times out of 10, the people at the pound really don't know about dogs or much about that dog. When you get a dog that's close to adulthood from a breeder, the breeder is usually able to tell you a lot of the things that you would want to or need to know about the dog before you actually do the purchase. And so we like her temperament. Like I said, I've dealt with Luna for a couple years now. I have also, with Mr. Moon Bullies, I've also dealt with some of her clientele and different, advices and consultations that they've needed dealing with the dogs. They're now doing great. So I was all in on picking up the female from her. One of the reasons she was looking to get rid of her is because she's just an energetic dog, but that's what I like. So she's perfect. She's getting used to me, getting used to my son, getting used to being here. Her and Cardi Bull are a little, it's a little give and take there right now. First, Cardi Bull was trying to get at her at every chance she had. But after a couple of days, that's kind of iced down. So we're just taking it slow. Plus, we know within a week or two, we'll be moving into the new house. So we're not trying to bring too much on her all at once. Then we also picked up a pup who I'm very proud of. Also, came from Mystic Moon Bullies. That's him screaming right now. His mom, heavy watchdog and gray line blood, which is, of course, again, something that I wanted to bring into our camp. The pup's dad is one of my favorite bullies in the game right now, Grand Champion Dooley. So he's got Grand Champion Dooley as his father. He of Primo line. Shout out to Fred Duran. Great breeding when it came to Dooley. Dooley's a 4-time Grand Champion right now. And then his great grandfather is Saki Bomb, who was a great looking dog, also a Grand Champion. And so what we're trying to do is bring that together, the look and the structure, especially when it comes to ABKC, along with the temperament and the size that we're looking for at Thrower Bullies. And I think we did a good job with picking both of these dogs. Matter of fact, let me grab the pup real quick. Cardi, don't you act up. So you guys can check him out. Hold on just a sec. Back up. So as you can see, here is the new addition. Back up. Good looking boy. I got to take his stitches out. And I think I'm going to do a little bit to straighten up the ears. So I'll probably tape up the ears. I know, girl. But yeah, so this is the new addition. He's about 11 weeks old. Good looking boy, thick bone. So I'll show you, bring him back out later. What's up, girl? But yeah, he's Mystic Moon Bullies is doing great things over there when it comes to temperament. You're getting jealous, as you can see. Cardi's getting jealous. But they're doing great things over there when it comes to the temperament and the energy of the dog, along with now bringing in the structure and the breed type that she's looking for. So again, shout out to Mystic Moon Bullies. Man, I appreciate it. I am glad that you allowed us to get a pup off of you guys and offer that breeding. We did look at a lot of breedings that were taking place. But that was just hands down one of the best that took place in the bully world as far as I'm concerned. Come from over there. Hey, Cardi, Come from over there. Stay away from, get out of my wires, girl. There you go. Back out. There you go. No. You just need to calm down. But, so again, shout out to Luna and her husband, Ryan, Mystic Moon Bullies, doing great things over there. And, you know, though the dogs are not 100% gray line, they just exude that gray line energy, the look of gray line. So we happy with our new additions to Thrower Bullies family. As far as what I was going to speak on, a couple people asked me about picking up adult dogs. You want to ask a lot of questions. You also want to make sure that you are experienced with dogs and dealing with adult dogs, so that when you bring an adult dog into your fold, hey, cut it out. So that when you bring an adult dog into your fold, you're not putting yourself or family or anybody else at risk. Typically, if I deal with an adult dog, my wife kind of knows that she's going to play offish for about a week while we test the dog. So far with Xara, we played fetch, we played done the flirt pole. She's been disciplined a couple times, and she's dealing with it all well. Cardi Bull made things a little rough for her because, you know, she could tell Cardi Bull wanted a piece of her. And, you know, she was backing herself up, you know what I mean? Which, of course, caused Cardi to be even more aggressive. But now that's kind of dying down. Probably tonight, it's hot. But probably tonight we'll go ahead and take the two of them for a walk together to start trying to build that bond. But they haven't actually gotten to play with each other or had access to each other. They're just more kind of moving through the house past each other and getting used to that. But it's been a good thing. It's been a good thing. I'm very excited of both of the dogs. The pup is, of course, the pup. So we should be able to do some great things with our breedings. And as I've spoken to you guys about before, you want to get to the point where you're no longer buying dogs from other breeders. You want to get to the point where you got the dogs you need in your camp, and now you're working with your camp. We will probably also be doing some work with Mystic Moon Bullies because we just kind of seem to be on the same page when it comes to our philosophy with this breed and dogs in general. Now, today, part 5 of the Temperament Series. Let's see who else is in here before we get going. We got Johnny Mann. So what's up to everybody? What's up, Johnny? Thanks for joining in. WKRK9 is in the house. Who else we got? Let's see. Dom said new dogs look good. Thank you. Yeah, some of you guys have probably seen the videos. We've made a couple posts on IG. Made a few posts on Facebook, and yeah, they're looking good. But thank you for that. Thank you very much. What's up, Sid 1026? What's up, man? Thanks for joining in, and happy 4th back to you guys. Matter of fact, happy 4th of July to all of you. Belated 4th of July to all of you. Casper's in the house. What's up? He said, how's it going? D, I just introduced my little mutt to a carpet mill, and he loves it. There you go. I think we've been thinking about getting a mill, and it's funny you said that because I'm actually leaning towards getting the carpet mill rather than the slate mill. For those that don't know, the slat mill, it just has, you know, the wood planks in between. The carpet mill is all carpet. The difference between them, the slat mill pretty much runs, is loose running. So therefore, it's great for building endurance and speed in the dog. If the dog's able to go as fast as it can go. When it comes to the carpet mill, it takes a little more muscle. You're not going to leave a dog on a carpet mill as long as you would on the slat mill. One of my favorite things to do with both mills is to work the dog out prior, then put them on the mill. But if I work the dog out prior, put it on the carpet mill, I'm looking for 5 to 10 minutes of a hard run, and then bam, we're done for the day. You don't want to push the dog too hard on a carpet mill. But yeah, congratulations on that. But it's funny because, yeah, I'm thinking about running with the carpet mill myself. I've dealt with slat mills a lot, but I think I'm going to be running with the carpet mill. Maurice Humboldt, what's up, man? Thanks for joining in. We got John Stevens, say hello, all my fellow bully breeders. Bully lovers, my bad. Hope everyone had a good 4th. What's up, man? Hope you did too. Thanks for joining in. Fatima, what's up? Thanks for joining in. Let's see. Now I lost the comments again. There we go. All right. Dan G is in the house saying what's up to everybody. Who else is in here? AMIK9 from Morocco. What's up, man? Thanks for joining in. And we about to get to the 5th part of the Temperament Series in just a second. We got Bolo in the house, K9 working dogs. And who else? Fatima saying peace to everybody. Can we get some e-collar training tips? You know what? We can definitely do. I don't deal with prong collars. As far as the e-collar, you have a lot of different ones now. The ones that I tend to like have kind of a prong on them, so it kind of goes, rather than it laying on the fur, it kind of sticks into the fur. You'll notice they're like little hooks, and I shouldn't say hooks because that sounds scary, but they're basically like little probes, and they're actually touching the skin. That is the type of, and I forget what it's called, but that's the type of e-collar I would suggest getting. When it comes to e-collars, a lot of people start them too low, and then they gradually build up. And a lot of times what you do is the dog kind of acclimates to it, and it makes the training and using the e-collar a lot more difficult. What I would say is always start at the medium level. When you see your dog's reaction from there, you can bring it down or you can bring it up. The main thing with the e-collar is a lot of people leave them on the dog. It's constantly on the dog. It is made for correction. You can use an e-collar somewhat for training, but for the most part, it's made for correction. What I would suggest doing is starting off at a medium level. You can always test it out on yourself first, but start it off at a medium level with the intent on working your way down. And that is typically the best. Don't start at the bottom, then the next notch, then the next notch, and then, because then your dog is just constantly adjusting to it. So start at medium with the intent on working your way down. If you've been working with your dog before the e-collar, chances are that will work, and chances are you'll end up working your way down. The end result is to use the e-collar less and less and reach a point to where you no longer need it. Some people do like the e-collar, leaving the e-collar on their dog because they're more worried about the dog running off or getting into fights, things like that. That is something that's up to you. When I work with clients, it's always to bring it down and then eventually no longer need it. But we can do a thing on the e-collar. We can definitely do that. But that would be my short version of tips for today when it comes to the e-collar. Zola the American Bully. Yes, hit that like button. Share all that. If you are watching from Facebook, I try to go live from Instagram. It kicked me out. Matter of fact, let me get my phone out the way. If you're watching live from Facebook, it looks like it might be showing. Actually, no, it's not. So it's not showing the comments if you're on Facebook. So definitely join over to YouTube so that I can see your comments, questions, and all that good stuff. What's up? Montgomery's up in the house also. I'm doing good. Hopefully you doing good. First time I've been able to catch it live in a while. That's all right, man. At least as long as you get to see it. Heart and Soul Bullies in the house. What's up from Maryland? Thank you, man. Thank you. I'm looking forward to really working these dogs into the program. I can't wait to start doing the flirt pole and all that stuff, especially with the female. But I'm excited. I'm truly excited. Let's see here. Who else we got? And then we're going to go ahead. John Stevens said, I love me some gray line. My boy Kane is gray line and edge blood. Yes, both of them have edge blood. But again, she exudes gray line. And that was one of the reasons we ran with Mystic Moon Bullies and also picked her up. And the pup, he's got gray line and watchdog on his mom's side. And then his dad, like I said, is Grand Champion Dooley. Great-grandfather is Grand Champion Saki Bomb. Dooley being I want to say he's a 4-time Grand Champion right now. So I think we bring him exactly what we need into the camp in order to maintain the temperament, the drives that we're looking for. while at the same time being a balanced dog, and at the same time being able to, get that confirmation and that breed type that we're looking for. So, but let's get into it. So today, we're going to talk about, for the Temperament Series, we're going to talk about purpose drive. As you guys, we've all discussed before, the dog is a purpose-driven companion species. That is what it is. The purpose factor, due to the fact they originally started off hunting with us as humans, guarding with us as humans, herding with us as humans, and then you figure over a period of 20, 30,000 years, we have just bred that purpose drive into all dogs. And like I've said before, between the ages of 6 and 12, the dog is, especially around 6 months old, the dog is looking for a purpose, constantly looking to you as the owner for a purpose. That purpose can be frisbee, agility, fetch. It could be hunting, protection, whatever it may be, bite work. After about 6 months, if you don't supply that dog a purpose, it slowly starts to die down. When we talk about purpose drive, one of the descriptions of it is written in the ABKC standard for the American Bully, also in the standard for the UKC standard for the Pit Bull, along with, and I think also ADDA's standard for the Pit Bull, and also AKC standard for the American Staffordshire Terrier. And that's where pretty much the ABKC got their temperament standard in, when they say an exuberant willingness to please and a zest for life. Exuberant willingness to please is the description of purpose drive. A willingness to please. When you put the word exuberant in there, you're looking for something that is more extreme, more noticeable, and a huge factor of the dog's temperament. So when it comes to the purpose drive, that's what it is. It's the desire a dog has to please its owner. And of course, the thresholds are broken down the same way. Of each of the drives are all broken down the same way, from low to medium, medium to high, and then high. And that's the way you want to look at it when you number it, when you are working on your breedings and you're trying to cross different dogs with different temperaments. One of the best things about the purpose drive is it is a drive that is best for replacing other drives. So for instance, if I have a dog that is, let's say he's got a high rank drive, we talked about that last week, and a rank-driven dog is just a useless, it's just a useless drive in a dog that we as dog owners don't really need. It causes a lot of conflict. But let's say I like everything about my dog, but my dog is rank-driven, on a scale of medium to high, let's say. And all of a sudden, I know I need to breed this out to make a more balanced dog. One of the best drives to use for balancing just about anything is the purpose drive. Find a dog that's got a higher purpose drive. So if I got a dog and it is medium high in rank drive, and I want to bring it back, I want to bring it down to low to medium or even low. One of the best things to do is find a dog to breed my dog to that has a low rank drive. But remember, as we discussed before, you don't want to bring down drives without replacing them with something else. You have to maintain balance. Otherwise, it can upset other drives within the dog. So you want to replace it with something else. Purpose-driven dogs are some of the best dogs to breed to. So if I've got a dog that is medium to high rank drive, and I want to bring it down to low to medium or even low, best thing is to find a dog now that is at low rank drive, okay? And then I'm going to take that dog and I also want that dog to have a medium to high or high purpose drive. Breed those two together. Now you've created a balance. You're not just bringing things down. You're also increasing something as you're bringing down. I'm bringing down the rank drive. I'm bringing up the purpose drive. Purpose drive is one of the best drives for that. Dogs that tend to have a medium to high or a high purpose drive tend to be more intelligent dogs. They tend to be driven. And again, the purpose drive is just the dog's desire or willingness to please its owner or the human part of its family. And that is something that we should be looking for. It's what the ABKC calls for, and it's breed standard. Even though they don't call it purpose drive, they say exuberant willingness to please. Well, that is purpose drive. A dog that is just laying around doesn't have an exuberant willingness to please. They have a willingness to please, but it definitely isn't exuberant. When it comes to dealing with the purpose drive, especially when you're trying to look for it, you're trying to test for it, you're looking for the thresholds of it. When it comes to small pups, young pups, we're talking 6 weeks and up. One of your first clues that those pups are going to have a decent level of purpose drive is their ability to switch from one thing to the next. What I always do is I'll get a ball, I'll get a rope toy, I'll get, just get different toys, but they need to be opposite. So a ball, a rope toy, a small flirt pole. You can even use a laser light. Have all of them ready, right with you. Have that ball and the rope toy and everything in sight of the dog. You can even have another toy, some type of soft stuffed animal that the puppies are playing with. You can even use that and just keep it there for a distraction. What you want to do is engage the dog with the ball. Get him going for about 30 seconds, maybe even 60 seconds. And then you're going to stop. Sit the ball down, pick up the rope toy, and now try to engage the puppy with the rope toy. And then you're going to do that about 30 to 60 seconds. And you're going to stop. And then you're going to move to the little flirt pole with the feather at the end, whatever you may have for your small pups. What you want to see is that dog transition from toy to toy to toy as you transition. Some dogs with a lower purpose drive are you're going to grab that rope, and they're going to be like, nah, I'd rather play with the ball. Let's go back to the ball. That's what you want. That is something that you're looking at and you're taking note of, and you're saying, okay, he may not have as high of a purpose drive as my other puppy that I was working with in the litter. And you just want to go from toy to toy, and you want to see the dog go. When you've made your way through the 3 toys or 4 toys that you've laid out, the very next thing you want to do is get up from there, turn and walk away, get in the pup's attention, snap your fingers, clap, whatever it is, and get the pup to follow you away from the toys. Some pups won't. A purpose-driven pup, he's going to do whatever it is you want to do next, and he's going to be looking to do whatever you want to do next. It's okay to him that this is more boring than what we were doing before, because I just want to engage with my owner. I want to do some type of activity with my owner. And that's one of the best ways to test for purpose drive in pups. Now, again, they're pups. So as they mature and they get older, sometimes it changes. This pup went through it with flying colors, and you thought he was the one with the highest purpose drive. And then all of a sudden, a couple weeks passed, and this one seems to have gravitated, and now all of a sudden, it seems to have a higher purpose drive. Just like this pup was the tallest, and all of a sudden, this pup, which was the shortest, has now all of a sudden become the tallest. Temperament is exactly the same as the body. The drives within the dog are just like the features that we see of a dog. It is no different. The more difficult thing about temperament and drive and their thresholds is the ability to see them and recognize them. We can all spot a blue dog. We can all spot a black dog, a white dog. We can all spot a high rear, a sway back, cow hawk, weak pasterns, bowed legs, straight legs, good conformation, bad conformation. We can all spot that because it's easy. The more you learn about temperament, the easier it becomes to spot temperamental traits the same way you spot physical traits on a dog. They are both a phenotype. A lot of people will try to say that temperament is not a phenotype. The drives of a dog are not a phenotype. It is. If phenotype is based off of what we're seeing, then that means that the drives of a dog are just as much a phenotype as the color of a dog. The difference is you have to learn to see it. Just like there are some people who are colorblind, and they might know that whenever I see yellow, my wife says it's green. So now I know when I see yellow to just go ahead and call it green. If you talk to people who are colorblind, they learn to kind of offset that. Same thing with temperament. As we learn temperament, the drives that make up temperament, the thresholds that make up the drives within temperament, the more we learn to see it, the more we watch for it, the easier it becomes to see it, and the more it becomes understandable why temperament drives thresholds are a phenotype. Now, in testing for the purpose drive of a dog, you can't get it confused with the dog's natural instincts. Good example would be a beagle. Beagle loves to hunt. If all I'm about is hunting, I can easily make it seem, I can easily trick myself into believing my beagle has a high purpose drive. Because every time I want to go hunting, he's ready to go. Well, that's just his instinct. That has nothing to, because he's a beagle, it has nothing to do with purpose drive, with his purpose drive. Purpose drive is that a dog's ability to move from one thing to the next because that's what the owner wants to do. And then eventually the owner hones it in on a few things, protection, hunting, whatever it may be. But I can't look at a beagle and say he's got a high purpose drive because he loves to go hunting with me. That's what he was bred to do. See what I'm saying? So that's something that you have to differentiate. Now, let's say I've got a beagle, but I've got him trained on deer, rabbit, boar, and he's eager to switch to whichever one that I want as far as scent. Now we're dealing with purpose drive. So again, purpose drive, the best ways to test for it is your ability to switch from one thing to the next and that dog's desire to switch to it. As the dogs get older, the flirt pole, fetch, these become great games to play when you're testing the dog's purpose drive and how fast they're able to switch from. Some dogs are going to prefer to play fetch. And so you bring out that flirt pole and they're like, nah, go get the ball. You know, you should be able to leave that ball there, bring out that flirt pole, start running that flirt pole, and the dog goes straight for it. You know what I mean? Without you having to put the ball out of reach, the dog should still have access to it. And these are the ways you test for purpose drive. The main thing I will say about purpose drive, again, is it is one of the best replacements for lowering drives that you don't want. And you have to replace it. Best example I can give to you is the American Pit Bull Terrier. It was bred to be game. What was one of the things that came along with gameness? Well, if we go to break the dogs up and I get bit by your dog, guess what? You just lost your bet. Everybody in the crowd that was betting on your dog, they just lost their bet. So what we ended up realizing, or what man ended up realizing when it came to the fight game, was those dogs that were extremely focused were able to be broken up without biting whoever was breaking them up because they were so focused on that dog that they were tolerant to the human hand, even in the heat of combat. Then all of a sudden, a couple hundred years goes by of this, and we decide we want the pit bull to be part of the AKC. And the AKC says, cool, but you can't fight them no more. And we're going to change the name to American Staffordshire Terrier. And what happened when we started breeding the dogs out of the fight game and gameness out of the dogs? They didn't replace it with anything. So all of a sudden, the rise in people getting bit by Amstaffs starts to increase because you have bred out that human tolerance that came along with the gameness. And that's why I always say, when you are breeding down a drive, you want to bring back in another drive. So if I've got a dog that is, and that's why purpose drive is one of the best. So again, same example. If I've got a dog that is a high rank drive and I want to bring it down to low or low to medium, then I got to breed to a dog. I got to breed my female to a male that has a low rank drive. But what I have to be careful of is bringing down drives without replacing them with something. And purpose drive is perfect for that. It is the perfect drive to increase while you're bringing down the other any other drives that you necessarily don't want. So if I've got a rank-driven female and I want to bring that down, the best thing I can do is take her to a low rank-driven male with a high purpose drive. And in that way, that high purpose drive replaces that high rank drive, plus the rank drive is being brought down, and you create a balanced dog rather than you taking her to a low rank driven male, but you don't replace it with anything. Then you kind of open things up to go any way they may go. The prey drive may go through the roof. The play drive may go through the roof. The rank drive may come down, but the dominance drive goes up. You want something to fill in that void that you're bringing down. And purpose drive is always perfect for that. Play drive is another one that is perfect for that. But today we're talking about purpose drive. And like I said, that is one of the perfect drives to use to replace another drive when you're bringing down unwanted traits of the temperament. So that is pretty much that. That's part 5, purpose drive of the temperament series. I'm going to go ahead and hit the comments and any questions we may have. Wayne said, what kibble do you use? I use pedigree, but I add to it. I use pedigree, or I will use Purina 1. I look at, some people will say pedigree is the worst, blah, 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 blah. Here's the facts. Pedigree has been fed to dogs for I don't know how many years. Never had any issues with it. No one ever had any issues with it. And then the high-end dog foods got popular. Now, when I was young, you only fed high-end dog foods because you were getting ready to have a performance. So if I was conditioning my dog to go hunting, which you would usually start 1 to 2 months, 2 months preferably. And 2 months before we're getting ready to go hunting, I would start conditioning the dog and working in a higher end dog food with the higher protein. You're looking at 25, anywhere from 25 to 30. And then I would work that food in because now I'm conditioning the dog. And then once hunting season was over, I went back to regular grocery store pedigree because a lot of dogs don't need more, unless you're working them. Dogs do not need more than 18 to 23% protein. When you start getting heavier than that, especially with young pups, you can really affect their growth. Some dogs do fine on it. Some pups grow fine on it. But me personally, I like to keep the fat high and the protein low, and pedigree does that. The other thing is, if I feed a dog pedigree and it has allergy issues, I'm not breeding that dog. If I have to switch to a high-end dog food, I won't breed that dog. One of the things that I look at kibble as a filler. So I add raw ground beef on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. It's about veggies. Sweet potato, what else? Blueberries, strawberries, garlic, cloves, things like that. And then on the days in between, I add, it's about protein. Your raw ground beef, and I don't do too much chicken. I will do boiled chicken gizzards. I will do chicken feet. But other than that, I don't mess around too much with raw chicken. But on protein days, I focus on one of those things along with raw ground beef. And then I'll also focus on sardines on protein days. And then on fruits and veggies days, that's when I switch to the other. So they're constantly getting their kibble, which I use pedigree, and I'm constantly every other day they're switching back and forth from veggies or a fruit and veggie day or a protein day. And then, like you guys know, on Sundays I fast. But yes, so in the bully community, they will talk trash. Daryl feeds pedigree to his dogs. Yes, I do. And my dogs will outrun 90% of the dogs in the community. They're healthier. Their fur, you guys have all seen Cardi Bull. The white on her fur is pure white. It's snow white. But that's because of what I add to the food. Again, always look at kibble as a filler. There are kibbles out there that you can just feed straight. I would still advise at least putting water in the food to make it a little more digestible. But yeah, I stick with it, and I won't breed a dog that has allergy issues, that can't eat pedigree and has allergy issues. It will not be bred. So yeah, I stick with it because I know the high-end dog foods are pretty much a gimmick and have become a gimmick. They have their purpose, but they have become a gimmick. If I'm not taking the dogs hunting, pedigree's perfect along with what I add to it. If I'm getting ready to take the dogs hunting, there's a performance coming up, and I mean an action performance, not the show ring. There's hunting, you're doing herding, you're doing protection. especially the type of protection where, you know, you reach that level where they want to see the dog run 20, 30 yards and then hit the sleeve. That's when that's when I will switch to a higher protein or a higher end dog food. But other than that, dog's been eating pedigree, dog chow, gravy train, all that for years. And to remove those dog foods and then just to feed higher end dog foods, what we end up doing is breeding in immune system issues and allergy issues, or continuing immune system issues and breeding in allergy issues that shouldn't be there. So again, if my dog can't eat pedigree, Purina One, dog chow, those basic dog foods that dogs have been eating for 100 years, then it won't be bred. Now, I do give somewhat of a leeway to some dogs. There are some times where dogs will have allergy issues up until about a year, and then they just grow out of it. That I'm cool with, but I'm going to make sure that that dog is bred to another dog that has a strong immune system so that we can eliminate that. But if a dog goes beyond a year and it still can't, you try it again with a simple dog food and it can't handle it, losing fur and all kinds of things, then I won't breed it. That's just my rule. I don't want to put vet bills off on our clients. Let's see. But good question, Wayne. Good question. Lucayan Bulls in the house. What's up, man? Thanks for that. Buenas noches. Yes, thanks for joining in. Zimbin was good. Them pups fired. Thank you, man. Thank you. I'm excited. I feel like a scientist back in the lab. You know what I'm saying? Building this Frankenstein. Yes. It was. We got a dually son. Let's see. It was good. What's going on with the internet? Is it messing up on you guys? It does show it is weak, but it looks like it's operating so far. I should put my phone on Facebook so I can see if it's messing up at all. Let me switch over here, and that way I know if we pause. Yeah, StreamYard takes a lot of bandwidth. And our internet is just crappy. I'm in the middle of the woods, so the internet is crappy. Matter of fact, my phone doesn't even want to pull up Facebook right now. But, yeah, our internet is crappy, so hopefully everything's going smooth right now. Hi from Georgia, Handsome Pup. What's up, Leah? I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Thank you very much. Thank you. I'm excited about the new pup. He's a great addition. John Stevens said, Thor Bullies, beautiful male, brother. Happy for you. Thank you very much. You know, so you guys will be seeing, with him being so young, it enables me to kind of start working the flirt pole and things like that. So I'll be doing more videos that are more educational on the spring pole, the flirt pole, acclimating your dogs to doing these types of things. You know, and just taking it slow. At his age, spring pole's just running around the carpet, chasing a little bit, and then that's it. You know what I mean? Keep it short, keep it sweet, especially in your young pups. You don't really want to push dogs until 18 months old when their growth plates have completely connected and are strong. Let's see. Miguel said, boy, nice. Thank you, man. Hope you and everyone else had a good 4th. Man, same back to you. Woke up. What did you say? 4th and woke up with their fingers attached. Exactly. A lot of people going crazy because of their dogs going crazy. I always say start acclimating your dogs to loud sounds when you know the 4th of July is coming up. Not only does it cause them to drive you less crazy, but at the same time, your dog just learns to deal with it a lot better. You start popping bags, Ziploc bags, whatever it is you want to do. Just get down, girl. Whatever it is you want to do, start acclimating your dog before the seasons come. 4th of July, summertime, things like that. Let's see. Leah said hi from Georgia. Handsome pup, congrats on growing. Thank you very much. Zim Ben said, Daryl Dog, I see you love them blues. Laugh out loud. Let me find out. Hey, you know what? I have always been partial to blue. Always. We just gonna leave it at that. Let's see. Thank you very much, Tony. What's up, and thanks for joining in, man. Thank you very much for team up. Let's see who else. Bully Bread, you're what's good, everybody. How you doing? Bully Bread Kennels is in the house. Let's see. Yes, Family First is in the house saying what's up to everybody. Said he caught the live. I'm glad you caught it, man. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Again, if you are on Facebook, sorry to the people on Instagram, it just wasn't working. But if you are on Facebook, chances are I'm not seeing your comments for whatever reasons. So the best way for me to see your comments and questions is through YouTube. Let me see if I can get on Facebook on my phone. Let's see. It is just super, super slow. Sis said, do you recommend using a flirt pole on a pup that's 5 months old, or would I mess up his structure? Yes, but for a short period. Initially, the flirt pole started off with hunters. You know, you grabbed a rabbit foot or a feather, whatever it was you were training your dog on, and you use that on your small pups to get them used to sniffing the ground after it, get them used to seeing something dragging and going after it. You just want to remember that you only want to do it for a short period of time, 5-10 minutes, that's it. After that, give the pup 15-20-minute break, and then you can go at it again. Watch the intensity of the pup. You don't want the pup running in circles, falling over. Pay attention to the pup's intensity. But if the pup is moving smooth, going after it, definitely 5-10 minutes, and then that's that. You know, just pay attention to the intensity. The harder that pup is running after whatever he's after with the flirt pole, the more pressure that pup is putting on its joints, its ligaments. And again, as we discussed before, the dog's sockets and joints usually fit like this, but in between is growth plates, and they have diagrams where you can see pups, and there's these huge gaps between their joints and their bones and the growth of the growth plates. When those growth plates start to come together and everything comes together, usually takes about 18 months. So at about a year and a half, that's when you can start pushing the dog. Until then, your pup's dealing with its own awkwardness. It's dealing with its own weight. So you just don't want to push it too much. Always be careful. You're probably like me, where you wish dogs were born at 18 months and you could just start working them right away. But we got to be patient, especially with dogs like bullies. Any dog that tends to be tall, wide, massive, large bone, large muscle, anything like that, you want to be careful and wait till that dog is fully developed. Let's see here. Max Temple, what's up, man? Thanks for joining in. Who else we got? Mike B said, thanks for all the helpful info. Congrats on the move. Thanks a lot, man. Have you ever heard of giving a dog melatonin to help with inflammation? Yes, melatonin is good for relaxing the dog. It's also good for inflammation. I like turmeric as part of a dog's diet. Turmeric is extremely good for inflammation. The only thing with turmeric is if you use it, you want to also make sure that you add just a little bit of black pepper. Black pepper has enzymes in it that are good for absorbing the nutrients that we want our dogs to get from their food, and also from multivitamins. Turmeric has I forget what it is that's in turmeric, but it doesn't really activate unless you add black pepper to it. And in just a little bit. Don't have your dog sneezing when he goes to eat. Just a little pinch is all it takes. For those who make turmeric paste, same thing. One of the main ingredients to it is black pepper, so that it gets the ingredients, so that it gets everything active in the turmeric. But for inflammation, melatonin is good, but I prefer. I think turmeric is better. Melatonin also is good for relaxing and calming a dog naturally. But yeah, for inflammation, if you have an inflammation issue, I would use turmeric and make that a natural part of the dog's diet. Same thing with ginger, things like that are also good for the dog. Garlic is also good. But yes, turmeric is good for inflammation. And if I'm not mistaken, melatonin does help, but most people use melatonin to help a dog relax. Let's see. G-Line Kennel said, bro, I got a micro that was supposed to be a pocket. She's 6 months. Hold on. I got a micro that was supposed to be a pocket. She's 6 months and 11 to 12 inches at the rib withers. And what are we looking for? Pocket, we're looking for what, 14 inches, 14 to 17 inches. Said I'm pissed, kind of. I feel you. But at 6 months, give the dog time. 11 to 12 inches. We're going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say 12. And then you figure you only got another 2 inches to go. So pay attention to watch how the dog grows. Find out from the parent, from the breeder, the height of the parents. But yeah, 11 to 12 inches is small, especially if you're looking for a pocket. But you might get there. And let's say you hit that 13-inch mark at about a year and a half. You hit that 13-inch mark. Then you're not far from it. You just know what you need to do in your next coming breeding. So definitely pay attention to that. And let us know how that goes. If in the next, let's say the next 6 months, next 3 to 6 months, if all of a sudden the height does increase on the dog. But at 6 months, 11 to 12 inches, yeah, you are looking at a dog that is fairly short for a pocket. Edwin, what's up, man? Thanks for joining in. Let's see. Bolo said Herm Springer. What is Herm Springer? Let's see. Darkside Kennels, what's up, man? Thanks for joining in. Why is my mouse tripping? There we go. King of Bullies checking in for the knowledge. What's up, man? Thanks for joining in. Everybody, pull up a chair. Ace 900 said I ran into the house to catch the live. Like I'm late for class. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. Enzo Brata, what's up, man? Thanks for joining in. Let's get in from work. Glad to be learning here. There we go. Let's see. You know any camps that have good watchdog blood? So far, like I said, Mystic Moon does have watchdog blood in their dogs, and that is where we got both of the dogs that we got. The pup, the 10-week-old pup, actually might be about 11 weeks old now, along with the year-and-a-half female. Actually, she'll be 2 years in August. She doesn't, if I'm not mistaken, she doesn't have watchdog. She has blue line, gray line, and the pup through Mystic Moon's their dog Fury has not through Fury, through Hella has watchdog and gray line. Two bloods that I have a respect for, especially when it comes to the bully game. So I can tell you Mystic Moon has, and the thing about her is even though there's other lines in there and some other scatterbred dogs, she has maintained the temperament that she's looking for and the drive that she's looking for in her dogs, that protection ability, the desire, the purpose drive, the prey drive. She's maintained that, done a great job maintaining that in her dogs. So I would definitely give them a shout out if you're looking for watchdog blood. If you're looking for straight watchdog blood, that I'm not sure who to turn to. If you want, though, let me know, and we can both kind of hunt that down for you together. Fatima said, why don't you have a payable subscription for your page for the information you pass on it? I've had people ask me that. I do consultations at $50 a telephone call. But as far as, the YouTube and trying to get paid off of it, when I do talk to people about that, it seems like they, every now and then they get like 5 cents mailed to them or something like that from YouTube. So to me, it's really not that big of a deal. I'm just not thinking about the money aspect of it. I got into this due to my cousin and a lot of people telling me you need to start doing lives. You need to do them on a regular basis. At first, I wanted nothing to do with it. Then I started noticing breeders doing educational lives, and they weren't consistent. And the reason they weren't consistent is they would always say, hey, start going live to educate the community. I'm going to go live on a regular basis. And then as soon as they sold out all their pups, they stopped doing the lives. And I started realizing a lot of breeders, when it came to educating the community, with bullshit. What they were really trying to do was sell some education for about a couple weeks until their pups were sold out. And then, bam, next thing you know, they disappear and they don't do lives anymore. Or you got the breeders that want to do lives, but they only got like 5 topics, and then so therefore they start not doing lives anymore. So I wanted to keep a thing here. That's why I shout out to Belinda. Don't look like she's on here today. Shout out to Betsy, Eric. There's a bunch of you in here. that help educate the community through these Dog Talk Tuesdays. And I don't want it to be about a money thing, and I also don't want people to perceive it as being a money thing. I happen to be part of a breed that I think it has a lot of potential and is falling short of that potential on a day-to-day basis. So I try to use these lives to help out the breed that I've decided to become a part of. And, money comes down the line and cool, but other than that, that's not really my concern as of right now. I just like kicking it with y'all for free. But if you are looking for more in-depth consultations, then yes, I do phone consultations, whether it's obedience training, behavior training, breeding programs, conditioning, whatever it is you're looking for. If I don't know it, then I'll let you know. I'm not going to take your money. But for $50 a call, and some of my consultations are 30 minutes, some of them go for 2-3 hours. When we schedule that time, it is 100% focused on you and walking away with the answers that you were looking for. And Zarata said, I would love to find some gray line or non-Dax Gotti to cross my edge to. I feel you. There's edge in both of the dogs also that we picked up, also some Gotti. Gary Moore, founder, along with his brother, Tony Moore, rest in peace, of Gray Line. Gary's back in the game. Don't sleep. He is back in the game. I know he was on a hunt. He's maintained some Gray Line blood, and then he was also on the hunt for pure Gray Line blood. And if I'm not mistaken, he did find it. And but he's back in the game, so don't sleep on Doc Moore when it comes to getting that Gray Line blood. He's part of the origination of it, along with his brother Tony. Let's see. I will have an edge breeding end of year, beginning of next year, and would like to then cross a pup to that. I feel you. I think it's a perfect combination. I think Mystic Moon has done great with that combination of edge blood. Gray Line. Gotti Line pretty much came from Gray Line blood. I wouldn't say that Gotti Line is necessarily a blood, more of a kennel. And then because there's lack of consistency with it, you have a lot of people claiming Gotti, but they're not part of. Just like you have the same thing with bossy kennels. Everybody claims they got bossy dogs, but they ain't bossy breedings. And so it's kind of the same thing when it comes to edge. Gotti Line. I think Gotti Line did kind of end up kind of all over the place a little more so than Edge Blood did. But again, even Edge, I don't think that that's a blood. It's more of a kennel name. And breeding two dogs from the same kennel doesn't make something blood. It doesn't become a bloodline till they have their own unique look, ability, and temperament within their breed. And it usually takes anywhere from 7 to 10 generations to do that. The best breeders will be able to do it in 5 to 7 generations. So when we talk about blood and lines, a lot of what we talk about, edge line and things like that, weren't true bloodlines. Devin B, let's see. I think he likes helping people and giving free information. Bam, there you go. That's it. Let's see. How far am I behind in the comments? I think this is 7. What does that say? 7:53. So I'm not far behind. You flipping a Zippo in your hand? Me? Nah, I don't have a Zippo. I don't have no Zippo in my hand. I used to be great at doing this right here. I used to love doing this at meetings. It made me feel more important. Flipping a pin in my hand. I dropped it. I ain't as good as I used to. I used to sit there twirling a pin in my hand like that. Made me feel like I was smart when I was in meetings. Max Temple said, a pup that growls and backs away from strangers, does that stay the same in the future? No. Remember, as a pup, they are insecure with situations, steps. Just there's a lot of things that make a pup insecure. As the dog matures, it tends to get over those insecurities. So a pup that backs away and growls does not mean that he's going to be fearful in the future. And when you say pup, it also depends on the age that you're talking about. But it doesn't mean he's going to be fearful in the future. What I would do is pay attention to that. If you're looking for a dog that's going to be good for protection, for instance, that pup may be it. If you're looking for a dog and you're not interested in protection, you want a dog that's able to get along with everyone, you might want to keep an eye on that pup. Start socializing him so that he's more comfortable with strangers. But a pup that realizes this is a stranger, I don't know you, my tail's not wagging, I'm not acting like a happy-go-lucky puppy, I've got a little growl to me, that's not necessarily a bad thing, depending on what it is you're looking for in the pup. And yes, more than likely, it will grow out of that insecurity as the pup becomes more secure within itself and then goes through more, life situations. Let's see, but I see others charging, and I was just asking. Yeah, I know people charge for various things when it comes to online. I just don't. In the short period, I will be pulling away from being online and more focused just on these lives. The lives I do with Raul on Mondays. Me and Robert McCormick are going to get back to doing the lives on Fridays. It's just been difficult with the internet. It's also been difficult with me just not having time with everything that's going on with the house and trying to get things set up. But yeah, I just enjoy doing the lives, with you guys and having these dog talks. Let's see. What do you add to the pedigree? Hopefully I answered that earlier. Oh, not 7:50. That's 7:30. Okay, so I'm a little further behind than I thought. But hopefully I answered that earlier. You caught on, I'm assuming, since you said pedigree, you did get a chance to hear that. But just in case for anybody that's just now tuning in, I feed pedigree. I have no shame of it. About a year and a half ago, to prove a point, I had Cardi Bull. I think she was about 6 months old, and I fed her nothing but pedigree for 6 months just to show everybody. And I didn't add anything to it like I normally do. She was just on pedigree for 6 months. I made a post about it. She was perfectly fine. Why? Because she's a well-bred dog. So what I add to pedigree is Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And I'm using those days as an example because when I fast on Sundays, I may switch up. But let's say for now, just for the sake of talking, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I will add raw ground beef, chicken feet, or I'll add, and I'll also add sardines. So sardines is a staple Monday, Wednesday, Friday on my protein days due to the fact they are so good for the dog and the dog's immune system, the dog's coat, everything else. So every Monday, not every Monday, well, every protein day is going to include sardines. It also may include raw ground beef. It may include chicken gizzards. It may include a little bit of liver, beef liver. It also may include, what else will I do? That's pretty much it, that combination. I don't do too much raw chicken. I don't do any raw chicken. And even when it comes to chicken feet, it's a quick boil that I do on it. I let the water boil, drop the chicken foot in there for about 30 seconds, maybe 30 to 60 seconds, and then bam, I pull it out. Now, on opposite days, my fruit and veggies days, they get garlic, a garlic clove each. They get not in small pups. I don't do small pups with garlic until they hit probably about 5 to 6 months. But I do garlic clove. Make sure when you do garlic that you press it, whether you cut it up, shred it, whatever it is you do, make sure you give it, I want to say it's like 7 to 10 minutes, might even be 15 minutes. I think I do about 10 minutes of letting it air out so that the enzymes in the garlic start working. So the first thing I do when I get ready to feed the dogs, if I know I'm doing garlic, if I know it's a fruit and veggie day, then I take that garlic, I grate it, whatever I'm going to be doing to break it up. And then that's the first thing I do so that it can start airing out while I'm preparing the rest of the food. But I do garlic on fruit and veggies day, garlic, sweet potato, strawberries, blueberries, spinach is another one I like to use. And then I do frozen. One of the reasons I do frozen is because it's easier. And then two, You just run some hot water in a bowl, let the sink water get as hot as you possibly can get it, and then you sit that in there and you let it thaw out while you're preparing the rest of the food. And then I take a bean smasher and I smash it all up, mix it up real good, and I take that water and I put that in the dog's food too. So first I'll take the scoop, I start mixing that, putting that in each of the dog's food, and then I spread that water that I mashed up the fruits and veggies in, and I pour that in their food also. I always include water in their food because it just makes it more digestible. And on Fruit and Veggies Day, that water is packed with a lot of the nutrition that comes from the fruits and veggies. And so I put that in the food also. And you'll see the dogs lapping up the water and they start eating the kibble or whatever. Let's see here. Dan G, right? I had an Amstat about 20 years ago that has serious ranking man drive, more than any APBT I've ever owned. I agree. You know, when they started breeding out gameness, you started bringing in those other traits that are in dogs. So you started, protection drive starts picking up, defensive drive starts picking up, rank drive starts picking up, dominance drive starts picking up, because you've now bred out gameness, and gameness in a dog obliterates those unnecessary drives because that dog's 100% focused and dedicated to fighting. And the dog has to have the ability to be broken up without fighting the owner. The other thing about breaking up the dog fight is if all of a sudden I grab the dog and it loses focus, that other dog can get a bite on it that's deadly. It causes injuries that we don't need, even though we're breaking it up. So that dog has to be focused. It's like the ref says in a boxing match, protect yourself at all times. Well, that is bred into the game-bred dog to protect itself at all times. So they're not going to snap and bite somebody because they all of a sudden touched it. It knows I'm in this pitch strictly for this dog, and that's that. So if I feel something else, I'm not even going to respond to it. And so when you breed out the gameness, you ended up breeding in traits that we necessarily didn't want in the American Staffordshire Terrier. When you bred out the gameness of the pit bull, you ended up bringing in traits that you necessarily didn't want of the American Staffordshire Terrier because they didn't take the time to replace those drives with other things. That gameness was something else. My male has a high purpose drive, and one of my females has a high play drive, but she has a low purpose drive. So will it balance? Yes, play drive and purpose drive are the perfect drives to replace other drives. So if your male has a high purpose drive and your female has a low purpose drive, but she has a high play drive, that's a perfect balance, perfect way to balance it. So you're on point right then and there. Let's see here. WKR said, any working plans for that new pup? Not too sure. We'll see, what he's kind of made of. I know his mom Fury would have made a great working dog due to the gray line in her. He will definitely do bite work. Not that we will do any protection training, but he'll definitely do bite work. So, I'll end up pushing him and see. I'll probably have a better idea of a direction when he gets to about 6, 7, 8 months old on what direction I actually want to take him on. What I'm kind of thinking is I used to have a dog that was just great at just kicking it while we went hunting. So there's a part of me that's kind of thinking of using him as a blood dog as far as we shoot a deer, using him to track down that deer that we can't find. So there's a couple things in mind as far as blood tracking or just kicking it with me in a tree stand. You know what I mean? There's a couple things that I've got in mind for the pup. Just haven't figured it out yet. I'm trying to figure more of a purpose out for Xara since she's, about to be too soon and go from there. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I haven't picked anything out yet. But we'll see. I probably will do a little bit of protection. He'll definitely do bite training. Might do some protection work with him. What happened I don't know where she's at. Actually, we're just going back and forth, I think, on Messenger a couple days ago. I'm not sure where she's at. She might pop in, though. She might pop in. Hey, what's up, Auntie? Thanks for joining in. Let's see here. Biscuit Bully said, but there's no kibble that I know of with 18% or lower. You don't need lower. Look for 18 to 23%. If I'm not mistaken, pedigree falls in right into that category. I want to say they're like 19 to 20%. You don't want lower than 18. You just don't necessarily need higher than 20. So than 23%. So 18 to 23% is perfectly good. You don't really need anything higher than that, and especially if you're adding to it. When you start to get above 23, you start to get to that 25 and up. That can be a little too much, especially for growing dogs. That can be too much protein. And dogs operate off fat 10 times better than humans operate off fat. So look for high fat, high moisture, and try to keep the protein right around 18 to 23%, and your dog should be good. But yeah, don't go lower. So don't worry if you haven't been able to find lower than 18. Don't worry about that. You don't want lower than 18. There still needs to be a decent amount of protein in there, and 18 to 23% is a good number to look for. He says so. Okay, so it was messing up earlier. I tried doing Instagram, but we're gonna have to figure that out. Northern Edge, what's up, man? Thanks for joining in. Who else is it? Rashad Kelly, what's up? And some tips to get dogs to run hard on carpet mill. Encouragement, pleasing them. We as humans actually, I take that back. My oldest son and my wife, they love getting on a treadmill and just running. You know what I mean? My wife isn't able to do that like she used to. But that I don't know too many people that just like to run. Dogs, though, love to run. So getting them on that carpet mill should be good. If it's not, hold on here. Who's that pulling up? Give me a quick second, y'all. Sadie, come on. Oh, okay. It's all good. That was my cousin pulling up with my son. I didn't recognize his truck. I was wondering, why is somebody pulling so close up to the back door with their car? Thought it was on for a second. But, as far as when it comes to your getting on that treadmill, let them start off slow. The more comfortable they get with it, it's just Mikey, bro. Calm down. The more I didn't recognize his truck at first. I was like, "Who's that pulling all close up to the door?" But yeah, let them start off slow on the carpet mill. Again, the carpet mill requires a lot of the dog's muscle, so you don't want to push the dog too long on it. So just let them do what they do. The more comfortable they get with it, especially if your dog is new to it, the more comfortable they get with it, the harder they'll start going. The more they see you're excited about it, and just give them that encouragement to go. But again, don't push more. 10, 15 minutes of a carpet mill is good enough. You don't really need to push beyond that. Let's see, my dog's comfortable on the mill, but only briskly walks on it, never really runs. So you want to try to get it to encourage, get it to go faster. You can definitely put some type of lure, attach that to the treadmill that the dog likes. You know what I mean? Whether it's a chew toy, a rope, whatever it is, you can definitely attach that to the treadmill, and that will get your dog to go after it a lot harder and get the dog more in the habit. Well, you just want to make sure you do it. Let's say you do have to use some type of lure to get the dog going. Make sure that that you're encouraging the dog. Don't just use the lure. Also use your encouragement. And then eventually the dog will get it like, okay, he wants me to go hard when I'm on here. Some of you have seen the video where I did the flirt pole with Cardi Bull, and I didn't even have a lure. She just knows, okay, he wants me to run. That's another way, since we're talking about purpose drive, testing the purpose drive in your dog. Working that flirt pole, get the dog going, and then remove the lure, but now start working it so that the dog understands. I'm not just out here to catch that lure. I'm out here to be conditioned. I'm out here to fulfill what my owner wants me to do. That's another way of testing the purpose drive in your dog. But include the encouragement with the dog. A lot of times we get the dog on the carpet mill or the treadmill or the slap mill, and we just kind of sit back and let them do their thing. Stick with encouraging the dog, and definitely use a lure, your dog's favorite toy or ball, whatever it may be, hanging at the end to get that dog to go. You might even hold it yourself to get the dog to go. Put it behind your back, bring it back out, put it behind your back. And when the dog's consistent, then you're going at a consistent speed with consistent intensity, then you know you no longer will need it. But just take your time working with it and let the dog get more and more comfortable. Let's see. Northern Edge Bully said, any information on why I keep getting 2 to 3 pup litters? I'm a little disappointed. Pups dropped in a few days. It is your female. Some females just don't drop a lot of eggs. The female dictates the number of pups. The male dictates whether those pups are male or female. And that's what it is. Your female just is prone to have small litters. She's only dropping a few eggs, and that's what it is. Now, one of the things I did learn, I haven't done it yet, from Luna of Mystic Moon Bullies, who I got the two new dogs from, is you can, in a breeding, mess around with the female on the inside to get her to drop more pups. When we're doing 8 eyes, the female's not stimulated, and therefore there are eggs that will drop naturally, but they're not being dropped. They're not dropping from the thrust of the male. When the male is thrusting in and out the female, that is helping more eggs fall. So you might want to try stimulating her on the inside when you do the AI. Do it beforehand. Do some stimulation. Do the AI, and then again stimulate her afterwards, and that might help her drop more eggs to be fertilized. But 9 times, matter of fact, Justice, though we have not had a litter from Justice yet, it seems that her female siblings have small litters. So we know when we do a breeding with Justice, she's probably only going to have 4 or 5 pups. Just because it seems like that's the way her mom was. Seems that's the way the females in the litter were, and her litter have been bred. But it is the female that dictates the amount of pups, and the only thing I can suggest is trying to stimulate her more so that she drops more eggs when you're doing your breedings. Now, let's say you are doing a regular breeding. You're not doing an AI. Your dogs are locking naturally. Then that means that's just her, because the male is thrusting in and out. That's enough to stimulate and for her to drop eggs. So if she's only having 2 to 3 pups off a natural tie, then that means that's just naturally her. Let's see here. Good info, Daryl. Thank you. Y'all, yes, hit that like button. And thank you, Jonathan. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Biscuit Bully said, my male goes outside during the fireworks, and it's like he doesn't even hear it because it doesn't bother him at all. Very surprising, right? Some dogs are like that. Our dogs, especially before I got into bullies, 4th of July, they thought we were supposed to be hunting. As soon as they hear those fireworks going off, they're looking at me like, where's the rifles at? Why aren't we jumping in the truck? Why aren't we going? They're like ready to go. Now, my Jack Russell was able to decipher this difference between a gunshot and a firecracker. And so it may have been certain types of firecrackers. She didn't like fireworks. And it took a while to get her accustomed to them to where she was comfortable. And that's all it's about. Getting them. If you've got a dog that he's got good nerves and the fireworks don't bother him, salute. That's what you're looking for in your breeding. You know what I mean? You start to get a dog that's knee high, not small. You know, a Jack Russell can be prone. Hey, Blue, cut it out. A Jack Russell Terriers tend to have more shoddy nerves when it comes to things like that, especially if those loud sounds aren't associated with hunting. The nerves of a terrier are geared that way. A terrier oftentimes can have something that it's afraid of for about 5, not even that long, about 3 seconds, if that, and then it just turns into straight viciousness. That's just how terriers are. You'll see them when they hit a hole, they bark first out of a little bit of nervousness, and then those 2 barks are all it takes, and then bam, they're down in the hole. So a lot of times the nerves in a terrier can shift to within split seconds to the most courageous dog ever, but it's because they have a high nerve system. So fireworks will kind of mess up smaller dogs, terriers. It does get to them, especially if they're not associating that loud sound with hunting. When it comes to your larger dogs should do well during 4th of July. You know, they should be, if anything, they should be barking at the fireworks. When a large dog starts to cower down at loud sounds from 4th of July, and has experienced this for years, you really want to do a lot with that dog to get them to accustom to loud sounds. And if you are a breeder, you want to think about that factor, because I've never had issues with large dogs when it came to fireworks, and that also includes dogs that we never used for hunting, that weren't around gunfire. So most dogs should be stable. Most larger dogs should be stable. Medium to large dogs should be stable around fireworks. But if for whatever reason the dog is not, start getting them accustomed to, get some paper bags, plastic bags, pop them around the dog, get them used to it, so that when 4th of July hits, they're more accustomed to it. But your larger dogs do tend to be pretty good around fireworks season. Eric, what's up, man? So with fireworks and other loud noises, dogs will feed off your reaction and sometimes learn to react that way to get physical attention. Very true. And that's what was done to soothe the dog before with noise. Very true. It's difficult because as humans, dog gets scared, we coddle the dog. Chihuahua owners are the worst with it. Chihuahua wants to attack somebody, they pick them up and they're petting them, saying, no, be nice. But really what you're doing is you're reinforcing the actions that you didn't want. The best thing to do with fireworks is not only trying to accustom the dog to it, turn up your TV and chill. Don't necessarily pet the dog to soothe it, because like Eric is saying, you're reinforcing that fear. And you're reinforcing acting fearful. So the best thing to do is ignore the fireworks, ignore the dog. If the dog hides under the bed, go get the dog from under the bed, close the door so the dog doesn't have access to hide in. Again, let that dog see you calm. Feed the dog, play a game with the dog, do a little bit of in-house fetch with the dog. Do things to distract the dog from the fireworks, so that and do things that you would normally do in the house, so that the dog understands you're not bothered by it, so therefore I don't need to be bothered by it also. But good point, Eric. Very good point. Zarata says, so Stud, I'm breeding too soon. Owner told me in winter he runs alongside Jeep and follows him all through town. It's a small town in the middle of the desert. Is that purpose drive? He's loyal to the owner. It can be. It can also be the dog just likes running. You know what I mean? But so it can be. It could, but it can also be the dog's pack drive. He wants to be with the owner, and he knows the owner's in the car, so therefore I'm gonna make sure that I'm following him. So, but you don't know unless you switch from one thing to the next. If the owner stops the Jeep, gets out, goes walking, decides to play fetch, do some other things, that's when you kind of know. When you're switching up things is when you kind of get an idea of the dog's purpose drive. But following the Jeep could be similar to a beagle hunting. A beagle hunting is not purpose drive, that's his instinct. Following the Jeep, he just may enjoy that run. Although I do think that's dope that he's going through town in his Jeep with the dog following. When I used to live in Carson, there was a girl, her and I think it was her dad, but they had this all black pit bull, and they used to just drive around with the dog follow him, chase him behind the car, and drive in and throughout the neighborhood. But and I always thought that was dope. I just won't take a chance when we go hunting. There are times where we'll let the dogs out and we'll follow the dogs in the truck as they're tracking whatever they're tracking. But in the city, I would be too nervous. Let's see here. Why aren't you switching? There it goes. I use turmeric and cloves. I haven't heard about cloves. I have not used cloves, but I've heard great things about it. But yes, turmeric is very good for your dog's immune system, inflammation, pain is another thing that turmeric is good for. Ginger is good. A lot of times we have to think about when we're creating our dog's diet. We have to remember our dog can't tell us things. That's why I like to do ginger every other day when I do my fruit and veggies day, because ginger is very good at settling the stomach. And our dogs won't tell us I have an upset stomach. And they'll still run and jump and do all these other things that they do. So turmeric is good for pain. You've got a dog that's active. There's that risk of it spraining a leg, and it's not going to let you know that it hurt its leg. Turmeric is great because it helps with the inflammation, and it also helps relieve pain. But I have not tried cloves. Rudy Wall said, Moon Bullies, is there any difference between embark testing and getting a test done at PetSmart/Petco? If I'm not mistaken, embark is going to be more thorough. Embark is also supposed to be, the markers are based off us as bully breeders turning in or submitting our dogs. The more dogs we submit, the better their testing is going to be. But if you're talking about health testing, I would assume embark is more thorough. If you're talking about breed testing, again, I would assume embark is more thorough than your PetSmart or your Petco. But I don't know about their tests, but I would assume that embark is probably more thorough and has more specimens to use. Eric said you should really add super chat in the chat on YouTube. We talked about that. I got to look into that. I actually Googled it and looked into it, so I'm definitely going to check into that. The quality of info you give on a variety of topics is a treasure trove. If folks want to send something, it's not forced. I'm going to look into that. I'm going to look into the super chat again. But last time you told me about that, I did look into it, and I just kind of forgot about it. But I'm going to definitely, matter of fact, where's my pen? I was twirling. I'm going to definitely remember to look back into that. And I didn't, when you told me about it, I thought it was something brand new. I didn't know that it was something that YouTube has had for quite a while. So I'll definitely look into it. Major League Canine said, peace. What's up, Daryl? My 10-month-old back. Peace back to you, Major League. Said my 10-month-old got injured on the flirt pole 2 days ago. I noticed he was getting tired and his circles got smaller and smaller as he chased. He made a turn and the leg was hurt. Again, we just talked about turmeric. Very good for it. Just let him rest. Let him rest. I treat injuries on a 2-week period, 10 to 14 days. At 10, and I don't pay the dog any attention. I don't push the dog any attention push the dog at all until 10 days. At 10 days, I'm going to take a look at the dog, see how you're walking, see how I don't pay attention to it for 10 days. Otherwise, you drive yourself crazy. At 10 days, if the dog seems to be doing well, then I give it another four days. That way the dog has had a full 2 weeks to heal. And just give the dog time to heal. Let it relax. Turmeric is great for pain and inflammation. And those joints, sardines is good for joints. So just take it easy. Don't go for any walks. Don't do anything. Just let the dog kick it and rest for the next 10 days. Analyze it at that point and then give it another 4 to 5 days from there. So I always do 10 to 14 days when it comes to injuries, and then see how the dog's doing from there. If from there the dog's still showing signs, still limping, if you start noticing, like even in the next few days, if the limping isn't going away, then you want to go ahead and get an x-ray done by your vet. But if you're noticing that the dog's getting better and better over the next few days, still give it that 10 days before you look at it, and then give it that 4 to 5 days after the 10 days to complete the healing process. and then work your way back into the flirt pole. The thing with the flirt pole is I'm going to end up doing a video on the flirt pole, but you want to work it in circles to prevent injuries. One of the things you also want to do, like the area that I was working the flirt pole in this morning, we got pine cone sticks. You want to get all of that out of the area, all that out of the area. Make sure the ground is smooth, flat. Most of you guys know at my old house in California, we had gopher holes. I didn't work the flirt pole until those holes were filled up. I stomped on them, make sure the ground's solid, make sure the ground is level, and that way you help prevent injuries. And don't do the whipping around that you see people doing with the flirt pole. Work it in a circle. If your dog is right-footed, then and when you go clockwise, the dog will feel comfortable pivoting and it'll run a circle. When you go counterclockwise, the dog's not going to feel as comfortable pivoting. And that's when you'll get more of the angles that build agility and that you see people whipping it around. The best thing to do with a flirt pole to prevent injuries is constantly stick with just moving in a circle. And you'll build agility and muscle when you go counterclockwise on a right-footed dog. On a left-footed dog, it works the opposite. If you're wondering what your dog is, if it's right foot or left foot, pay attention to them when they get up or when they're sitting and they come to you. They'll always start with that same foot. Whatever foot they start with, that's the foot they prefer. 9 times out of 10, your dog is right-footed. And when you're working the flirt pole clockwise with the right foot on the inside of the circle, the dog will run a full loop. When you go counterclockwise, the dog will start to try to cut it off more. And that's when you'll get the jumping and all the other things as the dog starts to build its agility. But yeah, be careful with that. Give the dog time to heal so that you don't exacerbate the injury. Biscuit Bully said, I know you hard in Arkansas. You look exhausted. Or is that the Bob Marley? No, I haven't had no Bob Marley today. I just been working. And you know what? It's humid and it's just draining. And we have one air conditioning unit in this hunting house. I just can't wait to move. It has been tiring. And now I'm finally back to work full time. Now that I got my internet going and all that good stuff. So yeah, it's tiring and I haven't really adjusted as far as sleep. So I'm still waking up on California time, but I am trying to force myself to get to bed a little early around 10, 11, but it's just difficult. It's easy for me to stay up to midnight and then bam, next thing you know, I'm up in the morning at 5 in the morning. So I'm going to continue getting up early. I do like that because it gives me time to mess with the dogs before I start work. But I just haven't really adjusted to Arkansas time yet. I'm still kind of on California time and staying up late. Eric said that Rudy, there are a few DNA test kits out there that should be pretty similar, but Embark seems to be the go-to and most trusted as of now. Yeah, and I don't know that Embark is the go-to because of their marketing, or if it's something that we found is the best. What do you hear? What I will say is that when it comes to Embark, the more we submit our dogs and their genetic and DNA information, the better Embark will get, because the more markers they have off of our breed and off of our dogs, the better they will get. So, because I've seen Embark come up with some stuff that just there's no way possible it was. So you just got, the more we submit our dogs, the better it'll get. But I would say Embark is probably the best. Major League Canine said, I usually don't work him on the flirt pole much due to his age. Everyone pay attention to your dogs when working them and be sure not to push your pups too hard because freak injuries can happen. Exactly. Now, another way to help prevent injuries with the flirt pole. I don't do the short 5-foot flirt poles. I do a 10-foot flirt pole. That way the dog is running in bigger loops, getting a better workout, and there's less angling at it and less pressure on the dog's joints as it's running. So get yourself a 10-foot flirt pole, and that'll put less stress on the dog's joints also, because the circles tend to be bigger and more smooth. Let's see. Rhodes, what's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. Let's see who it was. Thanking Eric. Yeah, thank you, Eric, for joining in and helping advise. Raul do lives on Fridays now. Yeah, I think Raul does. He does some on Fridays, and every now and then I just want to say he pops up sometimes on, if I'm not mistaken, Sundays. But yeah, Raul does a lot of lives. I just do the lives with him on Mondays. It's just been, I'm mad I missed yesterday because they had to stack off, and I heard it was wild, so I got to go rewatch that. They're just telling me I missed out and it was wild, but they're not telling me what happened. So, so I need to go watch that and see exactly what took place yesterday. That was so crazy. But yeah, but definitely check that out. The lives we do lives with Raul, QB&K, and Bobby Lee of QB&K, and Danny Cervantes of Second and None Bullies, and myself, Daryl Thrower Bullies, every Monday. And in the first Mondays of the month, he does a stack off, and I guess it was kind of lit yesterday. So I got to go check that out and see what happened, because they won't give me any details since I missed it yesterday due to my internet service. Captain says sardines are the best. I would even say it's better than salmon. Sardines are better than salmon. A lot of people's salmon is a go-to, but when it comes to salmon, they are a fish that eats smaller fish. So that is why sardines is best, because sardines are more jam-packed with the nutrients that we're looking for in salmon. So salmon is eating other fish to get that nutrients. So that is why sardines is the best. You're getting it straight from the fish that's eating the vegetation and things like that to get the nutrients that we're looking for. But yes, it is definitely better, more jam-packed than salmon, and it is 10 times cheaper. I get regular Walmart sardines in water. Don't get no sardines in Louisiana hot sauce. Make sure it's in water, coconut oil, or olive oil. Rose said, I lost 3 pups to roundworm, and I was able to save them. Sorry to hear that, dude. Definitely sorry to hear that. How old were they when you lost them? One thing I would say, and I've tried to get in the habit of it, is when we're getting ready to do a breeding, I always make sure that I deworm the female, and then usually probably right around 30 days into the pregnancy. I don't like to do another one, but I've heard of people 30 days into the pregnancy, they'll do another deworming. I like to deworm the female before the breeding, and I don't want to mess with dewormers until she has whelped those pups, or is done whelping the pups. But sorry to hear that, dude. Dan G said, Bully Max, venison, fish skin, and eggs. There's no scientific method to my madness, but it works for my dogs. There you go. Fish skin is very good for dogs and good for us. Eggs is good for dogs. Venison is also very good for dogs. It's more lean. My cousin is real big on feeding venison after deer season. He tends to feed it a lot. Normally, we'll probably make venison a large part of the dogs here in Arkansas due to the fact that deer season and the access to venison is just through the roof out here. One thing I was gonna say, when it comes to venison though, and you're getting it fresh, you want to make sure that it is frozen. And I want to say it's like 21 days. Make sure that it is frozen to kill the bacteria and the possible worms that are in the venison. But it is about, I want to say it's 21 days that you need to make sure it's frozen for. Let's see. What are the cloves? I don't know I want to say cloves are not only good for the blood of the dog and the blood flow of the dog. I don't really know. I have heard of people using them, and I haven't done it. But I want to say they're also good for clearing out toxins in the dog, like garlic. But I would definitely have to look into that or talk to, I forgot who it was that said that they use clothes. But I'm hearing more and more people using clothes. There are kibble that have 18 to 23%, but they can be hard to find, especially with all these big brands marketing high protein for couch potato dog. Bam, there you go. You should be able to get 18 to 23% through your regular Purina, Pedigree, your regular grocery store brand dog food. Not grocery store brand, not the generic brand, my bad. But your dog foods that you find at every grocery store are going to tend to be 18 to 23%. But you start looking at the higher end dog foods, and now you're going to get higher. When I introduced my dog to the meal, I baited my dog with some chicken feet at first. Then got him to run without any treats. Like Daryl said, use encouragement. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Dan G said, as someone who's not a professional or putting a dog through an actual keep, I can get better results from throwing a ball than I can using a meal. The dogs will like it better also. I'm a fanatic when it comes to fetch and the flirt pole. Now, what I will say with the meal is on a slat meal, you can let that dog go full speed for a long period of time. Oftentimes, a lot of dogs, I'm a huge fan of a dog, and when I throw that ball, they bring it back just as fast as they went after it. The slap meal kind of keeps that intensity going. With the carpet meal, which you wouldn't do for as long a period as the slate meal, is with the carpet meal, you tend to build more muscle on a dog. So, for instance, I may not be working the dog, but let's say I've got a bully and I'm getting ready to go to the show ring, or I've got an American bulldog and I want that muscle really, really popping because people are going to be looking at them. Carpet meal is perfect for that. Perfect for getting those muscles just really tense and ready to go. Let's see. One thing I will say though, when it comes to, I'll probably do a live on it sooner or later. When you do a slap meal, any type of hard condition, you don't not the slap meal, but the carpet meal, but especially the carpet meal, give your dog a good rub down after it. The carpet meal is hard work on the dog's body. Give them a good rub down to release those lactic acids and everything out the muscles and to help the body relax more and just kind of balance out everything in the dog. So, and when you do that rub down, you want to go, between the shoulder blades. You want to get your fingers in there in the muscles of the dog. Your dog is going to love it, but it just helps them in their muscles and to relax. You want to get the paws of the dog, get in between those toes. You want to bend the foot. The various ways that the joints move, that's the directions you want to do as you're doing the rub down. I'll probably do a live on it, and just to show how to give a proper rub down. I was working at a greyhound rescue, and we used to do rub downs with the dogs, and we actually had a guy that was from Florida and heavily involved in greyhound racing, and he came in to show us how to do a proper rub down. And I've seen on YouTube some pretty decent ones. I would probably Google like greyhound rub down or something like that, and because those guys that dealt with the working dog, especially with the greyhounds and the racing, their ability to pay attention to the crevices and creases and the joints within a dog and really get in there and rub them down good. Those dudes that work greyhounds are extremely thorough with it. So you can probably find some videos, but I'll eventually do a video on flirt pole and now rub downs. But let's see, ever have a dog super difficult to train? Yes. I had a client when before I got involved with American Bullies. They had it was a small standard, maybe big pocket, very stubborn, very, very unintelligent dog. Bulldogs, English bulldogs are another one that are difficult to train. Your working bulldogs tend to be a little easier to train, but there's still that stubbornness and that hyperness. But English bulldogs difficult to train. Some American bullies can be difficult to train. They just been bred so much for looks that there's no intelligence factor there in their breeding. So yeah, I've had some dogs that were super difficult, super difficult to train. You just got to be patient, you know. And if it's a breed that's not known for being difficult, you got to remind yourself that that's this dog as an individual. And then you as an individual trainer have to come up with what strategies are going to work best for that dog. A lot of times when training a dog, the difficulty is the owners, because they pay you to come out. And I'm the type of person I like to move on. I don't care if this person is going to pay me $1 million every week to come train their dog. I want to move on. I don't want to see them in their dog after a while. So what happens, and a lot of trainers capitalize off of it, but I try to teach or train the dog and the owner so that I don't have to return, or I just come for, you know, one follow-up visit just to kind of see mistakes that might have been made or whatever. But most trainers love a dog that's difficult to train, and they take advantage of it so they can make more money off of it. Me, I try to give you the tools that you need to get your dog, especially when it comes to behavior training, get your dog in the right spot, and then it's time to move on, you know, to the next client. Let's see here. Why are dogs afraid of plastic bag? Some aren't. Matter of fact, if you pull a plastic bag out in front of King, he thinks he's about to do some breeding. So it just depends on the dog. But a lot of times, plastic bags make a similar sound in our dog's instincts to the crunching or maneuvering of bones. So I haven't come across too many dogs that are afraid of plastic bags. But if you got one that is, get all the plastic bags you can and get them used to it. Now, another thing is, it's summertime. We got our air conditioning going, fans going. So there may be something where there's a current of air that's got the plastic bag moving a little funny or whatever, or somebody popped one in front of the dog. So what I would do, anything a dog is afraid of, you want to bring it around that thing more often. So just get the dog used to it. You know, sit, watch TV, chilling with your dog, and pull some plastic bags out your pocket and throw them out on the floor. Just do things to get them more accustomed to it so that they learn to ignore it. Let's see. My boy will sit by my side while fireworks are going off. He doesn't pay no attention. There you go. That's the best. Then I had a dog that would gladly scratch into a grizzly bear, but tinfoil was sitting running for his life. You know what? It's possible. You know what I mean? You can have the bravest dog, and they just have a fear of the weirdest things. It is definitely possible. Eric said, distraction and teaching avoidance are some of the most overlooked tactics when trying to resolve a lot of issues with our dogs. A lot of times we do it inadvertently, but it helps with a lot of issues. It does. Distraction is the best. Often I always tell people, they're like, I want to socialize my dog. And in people's minds, socialization means the dog's constantly getting petted by strangers and things like that. I always try to teach people that I deal with in training that socialization is your dog's ability to ignore things, not to engage with. I want my dog to be able to walk through the grocery store and not pay anybody any attention. And that is the first part of socialization. If you want that dog to get pet by everybody, then that's cool. But you need to start with the dog being able to ignore people first. That way the dog is not overly excited by people, nor is the dog taken advantage of. You know, you leave your dog in the car, and you leave the car unlocked, and the dog's so excited to see people that anybody can steal the dog. Best thing to do with socialization is to teach a dog to ignore things. If you want to go into engagement, then you go from there. But first, start off teaching the dog to ignore people. Tell those people, have no problem telling those people, no, you can't touch my dog. He's in a learning phase right now, or he's in training right now. And then eventually, when the dog learns to ignore people, then you can, and is consistent with it, then you can start letting people pet the dog. Let's see, what's great for inflammation and worms. Not sure what you are saying. Hey, Betsy, what's up? Thanks for joining in. Spirit Rider, as long as you may. Exactly. Edwin Wesley Biscuit Bullies, thanks. How much of the clothes do you give? And is it a certain amount for different ways? Okay. Let's see. Okay. Yes. You know what? And I forgot about that. Clothes are supposed to be good for worms. I forgot about that. That is very, very true. Very true. Let's see. I don't know the weight, so hopefully Biscuit Bullies knows that. That I don't know. 4 clothes a day, keep the worms away. Okay, there you go. I'm going to start jumping into the clothes. I'm going to try the clothes. You got me convinced. I'm going to try them because I've been hearing about them. I just never tried. If it's a puppy, just 2. Okay, cool. I'm going to try the clothes. Let's see here. Dan G said, all right, where'd the comment go? There we go. Unlike a keep where you want a dog peeking at the right time, what is the optimal conditioning for a dog to maintain on a daily basis? The dog should, you should be getting tired before the dog gets tired when your dog is at optimal condition. As far as the dog's appearance, we're all dealing with different breeds, but because they are a dog, I think you should, in between 2 things. 1, you should be able to easily touch the dog and feel its ribs. But stand back, look at the dog and not see it. That's 1. Or you can push it a little further to where you can actually see the last 2 ribs going into the hip. So if you can see those last 2 ribs, some people prefer 1, some people prefer 2. When you start getting beyond 2, that's extreme conditioning, or the dog needs more food intake. But that's where I like to look at it. I'm satisfied as long as I can see 1 rib or easily touch the dog and feel the ribs on the dog. If I can see 1 rib, I'm cool with that also on the dog. We're going to take. Okay. So that's what you look at. Hey, give me a Heineken. Okay. I was going to get but that I'm getting the cheap beer. You about to get that Bush? My son found a new beer, a new cheap beer called Bush. And now that we're in Arkansas, that's what he's buying to save his money. Rhodes said, most definitely going bust your eyes. What was shown? What you talking about, dude? Biscuit Bully said, you're welcome, Edwin Westby. Whatever you need to know, hit me up. I have a lot of home remedies. There you go. And throw them out there. That's what these lives are for. One of the greatest things I love about doing these lives is how much information you guys offer. There's things I forget, and you guys remind me of it. There's things I planned on looking into, and you guys remind me of it. And then there's things that you guys are doing that I'm not doing. And so to me, it's great to be able to do these lives, and we are all just collectively learning, reminding, and just having these discussions and helping a lot of the new breeders. And that's why, as far as I'm concerned, this Dog Talk Tuesdays is the best thing going for the newer breeders that are getting involved and those who are new to dog husbandry. Because we all have different ways, and a lot of our ways work. Some may work better than others, but we don't have no proof of it. Some may work not as good as others, and we don't have no proof of it. But we know it works on some level because of our experiences. And we come to these lives, and we just give up information. You know what I'm saying? So I think, and that's another reason why I would have a hard time. How am I going to charge somebody when it's Biscuit Bullies that's telling everybody the great things that clothes do? How am I going to charge you to watch my live? So I don't see myself ever doing that. You know what I mean? But again, thanks, Biscuit Bullies, for joining in. It's funny you call yourself because I call my kids Biscuit Heads all the time. 724 Small Town Kennel, thanks for joining in. Let's see here. Thor Bullies probably too late to get the original show. I'm sure by now, Mr. R.E. Raul said he definitely have to edit the video. Okay, see, something crazy happened because here you are talking about Raul said he's going to have to edit the video. And then I forget what Bobby said when I told him I was going to go back and watch it. So, yeah, I got to try to catch it before he edits it because obviously I missed out on something wild last night. Let's see. They was 10 weeks old. They're 11 weeks old now. Okay. Dang, at 10 weeks old and they passed? Goodness, yeah. Man, sorry to hear that, Rose. Real sorry to hear that. I was deworming them every 2 weeks, too. Damn. Yeah, that's crazy, dude. That is crazy. Soybean oils, dip sardines in that. Yeah, soybean oil I've heard is good for dogs, but I'm also hearing that we should be avoiding soy when it comes to dogs, especially females that we intend on breeding. No, especially males that we intend on breeding. I don't know how much proof is in that. So I don't know. I've never dealt with soybean oil and soy when it comes to dogs. So I do try to avoid it. I pretty much will stick with sardines and water, sardines and olive oil, and the sardines and coconut oil. The omegas and sardines, yes, omegas and sardines, omega-3s and sardines are great. Omegas and sardines and other smaller fish is also great for inflammation. Yes. Also, with your smaller fish, they contain, one of the problems they were having with salmon is, not going to say large amounts of mercury, but higher amounts of mercury than you find in your smaller fish. With your smaller fish like sardines, you tend to have a lot less issues with mercury and things like that. But yes, the omega-3s, the fatty acids, those are all great getting from sardines. Let's see here. Rose said it's a joy raising a pup, training and working when they get to the right. Yeah, because I hate dealing with pups. I love the little pup we got, but I can't wait till if I could snap my fingers and make him a year old, I would do it in a heartbeat. We'll feed you in just a sec, baby girl. What's up? Working them when they get to the right age. Exactly. You want some attention, Mikey? Don't you lick me in the face. Let's see here. And you're going to try and push it on me, huh? D is Victor High Pro Plus Go good for 4-month-old, or is it too much? Why are you just looking at me in the face like that? What you staring at? Too much protein. I don't know the protein level of Victor High Pro, but I want to say, girl, you pushing the keyboard out the way. What are you going to get now? Too much. You're going to drop the weight ball. I want to say, yes, Victor is probably too high for a 4-month-old pup. I know there's probably a million bully breeders that swear by it. But, like I said, 18 to 23 inches, 18 to 23% protein is good enough. If you're working your dog a lot, and by a lot I'm saying, let's say you're doing conditioning 2-3 days a week and it's consistent, then yeah, you can increase it. But when you start getting that 28, 30% protein and higher, is really unnecessary unless you are working the dog. For these dogs that are in kennels all day, they don't need that. If it's in your house all day, you're just doing daily walks, they don't really need that. Let's see here. But yeah, okay, so that's Biscuit telling yes, too high. Dang it, it lost the comments again. There we go. Bam. I can throw a tennis ball all the way down the street in my neighborhood, and my boy will go get it and come all the way back to me. There you go. One of my favorite fetch when we used to take our bull lurcher to Dog Beach in Huntington Beach, California. And I used to love just taking that ball and throwing it as far as I could out in the ocean. And she would swim out there and get it. She even got to the point where when she would see the waves coming, she would go under the waves, pop back up, go get that ball, and she'd bring it back. And she got to the point where she learned that she got closer towards the land. If the waves were hitting just right, she could kind of body surf all the way back in, and she hit the ground and bam, bring the ball to me. But yeah, I'm a big fan of fetch, and I love I don't see it around here. What is it? The orange ball with the blue stripe, the chuck it ball. That's my favorite one. The brand new chuck it ball has a bounce that is great. So then you can start bouncing it off of walls, bouncing it off of trees. Dog goes at it, but it hits that tooth, and the dog don't get it just right, and it just takes off flying the other direction. The chuck it ball is one of my favorite balls. Somehow a bug got in here. I hate that. Let's see here. I have friends that said his pups start knuckling over on high protein food. Yeah. If you have a pup and they're knuckling over, one of the best things to do is cut back on protein. Make sure your dog's getting more vitamin D. Cut back on protein. And start. You can get a hold of pea gravel if they can get a hold of pea gravel. Get your dog to walk on that. Mud. Wet dirt, mud, wet grass, long grass, things like that. Anything that's going to cause that dog to use those muscles and walk correctly. Also, make sure the dog's nails are clipped so that they get that proper roll in their paw as they walk. But yeah, too much protein will cause a dog to start knuckling over. It just messes up the joints. High pro is 30% protein. That's a bit too high, especially for a pup. I agree. So it is 30%. When I take him to the store with me, and he'll come in with me and sit by my side. See, that's perfect. That's perfect. 18-23% is ideal. What's a good kibble? Any recommendations? Because I'm about to make the switch. Like I said, our feed pedigree. Purina 1 is a great kibble to me. But you just can't go wrong with those dog foods. And to me, they don't end up having the recall issues that a lot of other dog foods have. They've just been around for so long. But if you're looking for a good kibble that's not considered one of the high-end kibbles, Purina 1 is one of my favorites. Let's see here. Why is it going slow? There we go. I believe they'll recommend Purina. Not sure which bag, but yeah, I like Purina 1. Like I said, I feed pedigree on a regular basis, but I do like Purina 1 dog food if I'm going to take it up a notch. But I stick with pedigree and I add to it, and that's what we try to run with here. Hell no. It was the first time I had it. He came in the house with it because I'll drink Bud Light. Hey, cut it out. Cut it and watch your foot. Don't fall on there. I'm going to feed you in a sec. Because I'll drink Bud Lights. And I don't really like Budweiser. I'll drink Bud Lights. I love Heineken. I love Sam Adams, all those different beers. But just to keep a beer in the house, I usually get Bud Light. And then I'll add whatever else, bring in whatever else I decide to my favorite beers. But Bush, yeah, he came in the house with Bush. I looked in the fridge. I was like, what is that? And it was this case of Bush. I tried it. I'm going to drink it because he's going to buy it. But I would prefer he didn't buy Bush beer. If you're afraid to give your dog a dewormer while she's pregnant, use clothes. Clothes is another good thing to use while the dog will be pregnant because it's natural. So it's a good idea. Let's see. Switch. Come on, there it goes. I feed Wellness Core, which is 24%. 24% is good. 24% is good. That's a good number. Still, I shouldn't say high, but it's still on the higher end of what you need without going too far. So 24% is good. Sure, I'm to the bush. Yeah, he's so happy he found a cheap bear to get. Have you guys heard of Nutrisource? If I'm not mistaken, Nutrisource comes in a tube and is a higher protein. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think you need it if the dog is eating regular. It's good for if the dog, for whatever reasons, is not eating a lot. It needs to take in more nutrients. If I'm not mistaken, Nutrisource has a lot of protein in it. But from what I understand, it's good to use if your dog is not eating a lot. Dog's getting over being sick, so his stomach is not fully there. Surgeries, things like that, where you want the dog to take in more calories and a little more protein for a temporary period of time. Arginine and L-carnitine is also good for dogs. Yes, good for the blood flow. Very good for dogs. Very good for dogs. You can get it through, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, turmeric has arginine in it, but also I want to say carrots also have it. And carrots are good for dogs. And I don't know how true it is, but some say carrots are also good for parasites because it helps knock the worms by cutting it up into chunks. And the dog swallows it, gets it in the system. It helps kind of scrape the worms off, helps scrape the worms off the walls. But if I'm not, but yeah, turmeric and I think carrots you can get both of those from. I feed Victor teal bag, but I also run my bullies a lot. See, then there you go. If you're running them a lot, then cool. I don't know that you necessarily need that much protein. If I'm not mistaken, Mystic Moon Kennels that I got the 2 dogs from, they feed the teal bag of Victor. And she swears by it. She loves it. It's doing good for her dogs and her pups. But my opinion is just it's high. And that you do need to make sure that your dogs are well conditioned, getting a good amount of exercise when you're feeding that much protein. Oh yeah, somebody was throwing freaky stuff up instead of showing their dogs. Oh, what? During the stack off? Wow. But you couldn't see anything, or was it like last time when we got the porno people invaded us? Man, I got to catch that. See what happened. Raul was I gotta see that. G-Line sure was. That was some crazy stuff. So it was crazier than when the porno people invaded us? That's funny. Adjustments use the red bag instead, 24 to 20. So the red bag of Victor is 24 to 20. And the teal, I think, is 28 or 30, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, see, 24 is not bad. Filling kennel. You were supposed to let him see it first. I gotta catch it. G-Line Kennel. Oh, exactly. You know Raul fixed the video. He had to have, because Raul don't play that when it comes to his YouTube. So he had to have. It didn't even click to me that that's probably what was going on. Yeah, he had to have. I still got to check it out. Maybe he missed something. Can't even cuss. Yeah, he don't want us cussing. He don't want us showing. He says, well, according to him, because he's got a huge YouTube channel, so he makes he gets money from his YouTube. And I guess if you cuss, it YouTube will flag it, and then he doesn't make money off of it. And 9 times out of 10, it's probably not that big of a deal, but every now and then he has a live or a video that blows up. And if it's got the potential, for him to make money off of it, then he doesn't want cussing or anything, because then YouTube will flag it and no money will be made. So I feel him. Puppies have a sense of I don't give a fuck that pushes my panic button immediately. I can't stay. See, I'm the same way. Like even okay, so we got the porch. Now the pup don't want to take the steps down. He'll take the steps going up the porch, but he wants you to pick him up to bring him down. But the other day, he's running along the edge of the porch, which is, I don't know, it's probably about as high as this table, so about 3 feet high, about a yard, maybe a yard and a half high. And he's just running along the edge, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. I don't worry about the other two dogs running around on the porch. But with pups, they're just so uncoordinated. I'm watching them like, okay, yesterday, I'm out with Xara, not paying attention, and all of a sudden I thought it was grass touching my leg. Then all of a sudden it started hurting. I looked down, my foot is covered with ants. This is the second time I've been attacked by ants since we've been in Arkansas. And the ants here are aggressive. So you step on their little nest and they just start swarming out. And but I look up, and Xara, she's hitting her face. They were all on her too. So I had to sit there and get all the ants off of her. Then get her to go inside. Then get back to the ants that are all on my shoe. They're biting my shoe, my socks, my ankles. I would have been livid if the pup happened to step on that mound of ants. So I had to go through the yard, clear that out, dig them up, spray in their holes. And so as of today, it looks like we don't have any more ants. But Arkansas has some of the most aggressive ants I have seen. I've never been attacked by ants before. This happened twice since I've been here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Raul don't like none of the cussing. He don't want to show no labels. I thank you. We got to cover up the labels when we drinking. Yeah, Raul's very, very picky. I agree about the Dog Talk Tuesdays. Best thing smoking. My opinion, please don't turn into people get a better icon next to their name and think they're Raul clone. Yeah, I know. People do try to imitate Raul, but he's been doing it for a long time. I like what he's doing with educating the community, and at the same time, you can join his lives, and it don't cost you money. If you want to join, and you want to, I think he has the paid subscription that he does, where he does special things for those people, or he makes sure that he caters to their questions. I don't see an issue in that. That's his deal. That's what he wants to do. So I don't really have an issue with that. Let's see here. What was that song? The same ball we have with the stick to throw it. I still have yet to use the chuck it stick. But can you actually throw it further with the chuck it stick than you can with your hand? That would be my question. Because I do see a lot of people using it, especially when we used to go to Dog Beach. I used to see a lot of people using that chuck it stick. Let's see. John Smith. Foods. Tractor Supply has a large selection of different protein levels and options and flavors, reasonably priced. Yeah, Tractor Supply. I'm mad. We have a Home Depot here in, but they don't have dog stuff. But we do have a decent Home Depot about 30 minutes from us. 20 minutes from us, we have an Atwood, but we don't have a Tractor Supply near. I want to say the closest Tractor Supply, I think I have to drive into Louisiana, and it's about an hour away. But I thought because of me being in the middle of the woods, we'd have a Tractor Supply. Nah, we're too far. We have an Atwoods. They have a feed section. This weekend, there's a feed store I'm going to go check out. There's also a pit bull breed. Guy breeds game dogs, and he breeds Patterdales. Apparently, he's like 10, 15 minutes away. My cousin always describes where he lives for me to go see him, and I can't find him. So when my cousin gets back to town, I'm going to probably start checking him out because he's got a little one-stop shop in his house where he's got damn near everything you could possibly want. So we got an Atwoods here, but we don't have a Tractor Supply, which I wish we had. Let's see here. King House brand and his good friends also meaning protein levels and selection flavors. I've never heard of that brand. Rural King House brand is Good Friends. I've never heard of that. Good Friends. I've probably seen it, but I've never noticed it. What's he deleting your comments for? You can't be cussing in Raul's comment. That's funny. That is funny. I heard that, brother. I hope you and yours have a great four. Had a great four. If I get a puppy that starts knuckling, it goes right on puppy challenge. Slow down on heavy, strenuous play. There you go. Unfortunately, knuckling is becoming more common with all the high pro foods. I agree. Man, I mean, think about it. When I was young, none of the issues that we have in dogs today were there. I don't remember seeing dogs deformed. We could feed them anything, and the more we get into raw and all these Band-Aid diets, the more we're breeding dogs that we would have strayed away from breeding in the past. So it just continues. Dogs that are more susceptible genetically to having issues. But yeah, I mean, we never had those types of issues, but at the same time, we weren't into trying to make sure we fed the highest proteins and things like that. Excuse me. By your feet. That was that's Cardi. That was by me. Come here, girl. They want to see you. She got in trouble, so now she's like, oh, she focused on my son. Come here. There she goes. I think my screen. There you go. Standing up straight. She does this when my lives get started because I always forget to feed them before I start the live. Can't be slapping me with your ears. So this is her way of letting me know, like, all right, come on. Because if I was working, she wouldn't be bugging me. But she's kind of picked up that whenever he's talking to the computer, he feeds me late. So I got to work on remembering to feed her earlier. But she is. You talk about protection. This girl's got a civil drive that is great. She is cool with strangers, but you got to watch her. Once she gets to know them, then she's cool. You ain't got to worry about it. But that girl has no, she'll let you know that I'm not just making a stance. I'm going to try to bite you as soon as I get a chance. She's a good girl. My wife loves her because of her protective drive. Rose, what's up? Had a good holiday. Yeah, hopefully all you guys had a good holiday. But also don't feed on Sundays, only water. Same here. I fast on Sundays. The dogs strictly get water. With pups, I cut one meal. And then by the time my dogs hit a year old, they only get one meal. And then that's when they fast the full 24 hours. It's just a great way to boost their immune system and let their stomach clear out the things we've been feeding them, good and bad. I just take my dogs to the vet and do whatever she recommends. There you go. Hope does flying leaps. Kids got some chutzpah. I saw the new pup you got, Betsy. He looks good. He looks good. He looks real good. I like him. Let's see. Looks like we're getting towards the end. Spread that diatomaceous earth for those ants, fleas, ticks, and anything else that has a hard exoskeleton. Yes, I actually purchased it and spread it around the edge of their little run area that they have at the hunting house. But yeah, I got a little bit left in the back, so I think I'm gonna spread that in the middle to get rid of it because those ants are tick, man. And I mean, they bite. It's like a heat when they start biting your ankle. And I'm sitting there ignoring it, thinking that I'm walking through grass or something. Turn out it was a bunch of ants. But let's see here. Listen to fireworks and ARs in the there you go. Those chucking stick balls sort of whistle when they go through the air. I think that adds some excitement for the dog. Oh, so the stick actually makes a whistle sound? That probably would get them going. Probably would get them going. Where are we at? We are at 9:17. All right, so we are almost caught up. Yeah, you don't have to worry about throwing your arm out. I feel you because as I get older and I try throwing, I kind of got to do an angle now. I can't just throw like I used to, because every now and then it does hurt. Doing this real hard all the time now, and you don't have to worry about touching the slobby ball with your hands. There you go. So yeah, I might have to go ahead and invest in one of those checker sticks. Let's see here. Why is it taking so long to switch? I mix Victor and Puppy. You know what? I got a buddy that breeds, and he breeds Bandogs. Matter of fact, he just got a nice barbell that he's working in his program. And he mixes the higher protein dog foods with pedigree, but with normal foods. I actually know a few people that do a mix of your lower end dog food with higher end dog food to bring down that protein level. Why is it so slow switching? There we go. Good friends is. Come on, what happened?
I'll turn it off.
What?
I'll turn it off.
Oh, no, that's not it. I just hit the wrong button and the comment disappeared. Good friends is actually, bam. There you go. I know I saw something flying. And it's still alive after I smashed it. That's crazy. Smashed it with this bottle cap. That's the thing about Arkansas is all the bugs. Where did it go?
Oh, I think that's it.
You see it? Where? Little long thing? Yeah. Smash him with this bottle cap. I smashed him with my finger and it didn't do nothing.
Oh, he crushed.
Yeah, he was kind of hard when he was on my arm. All right, he's actually, let's see. All right, Good Friends is actually the same as For Health. Tractor Supply and Rural King are sister corporation stores owned completely by the same conglomerate. I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all. So I'm gonna check that out. Sadie, come from over there. We'll play in the morning. We'll do a floor bowl. I've been seeing a lot more dogs with high rears, severe Easty Westy, and major under/over bites. Have you, or am I tripping? No. I haven't noticed a lot of underbites, but as far as Easty Westy high rears, yeah. And not only that, it's making a comeback. There was a point at which you were seeing a lot of high rears, and then it kind of started going away, and then all of a sudden people stopped talking about it, and it seems to be something that's really coming back. Same thing with Easty Westy. We're hitting a phase right now in the bully community where people are not caring about the structure and not even using the word confirmation, just the structure of their dog. People are willing to walk outside, see their neighbor's German Shepherd, Pit Bull, Rottweiler, whatever, know what a dog's supposed to look like, and then go back inside and take pictures of their dog, post them on Facebook. People at least about a year or two ago used to try to hide high rears, making them stand on a pretty log and things like that, or just showing the dog straight on, which is the best looking picture, especially if you're on Instagram and things. But so you always got to make sure you ask for a side view of the dog. But I'm noticing now a lot of people aren't even hiding the high rears. So there's a culture coming into the community from the past, even though they may be newer people, of not caring about the structure and the build of the dog. So no, you're not tripping. And yeah, I'm noticing it too. From new breeders and old breeders, because the newer breeders do it, and then the older breeders, they use it as an excuse not to give a shit either. I mix dog chow beef with Nutra-Nuggets beef and rice kibble for my adult dogs, and my pup is puppy chow, chicken and rice. There you go. With large breeds, I don't use puppy food. Sometimes puppy food has a little more protein than I want. Now you can find a puppy. If you can find puppy food that is lower in protein, then that's cool. But especially years ago, they used to put too much protein in puppy food. So I don't feed puppy food at all. I just take them straight on to. Let's see here. Appreciate it, bro. She's beautiful and huge. Yeah, she's got a noggin on her. She's just got neck, chest. She's a boned up dog. but it's very athletic, very agile for her size, and especially because her legs aren't that long. But she's also got a little bit of length, and I think that's where she gets a little more length than what I would typically want, especially for bullies. And I think that's where she gets a lot of her agility from. Someone told me tennis balls are bad because the fuzz holds dirt and sand that wears the dog's teeth down. Yes, I think if you're on grass, a tennis ball is perfectly fine. But I wouldn't go to the beach with a tennis ball because it is going to hold a lot of that dirt. Now, the average dog doesn't, even though there's sand on it, if you were to use a tennis ball, the average dog doesn't hold the ball hard enough to grind down their teeth because they're bringing it back to you for you to take from them. So it shouldn't be that big of a deal, but yeah, tennis ball can store and harbor a lot of germs. I call it dry Sundays so they can empty out the whole system. There you go. That's what fasting is for. We got dry Sundays here in Arkansas where there's no alcohol. You can't buy any alcohol. How do you keep flies away? Flies, one of the best things. I actually just bought some. But use now I can't think of the name. The cattle. They come in orange, little cattle tags. You can use those. Hang those around your dogs. Wherever your dogs are going to be, hang the cattle tags around that area. I need to hang them up on the patio and in the areas and along the fencing in our little area. Cattle tags will help drive flies away. And then away from your dog is where you want to have your fly traps and things like that. But I like the cattle tag. They tend to work pretty good in deterring flies from coming into the area. The dogs can care less about them. It's not like they're attracted to them. I try to hang them, around my head level and also lower around the dog's level. If you get a dog that for whatever reasons wants to mess with them, then just hang them higher. But 9 times out of 10, the dogs don't pay them attention, and they do to deter flies. They're great for deterring flies. Just was filling in for Spirit Rider. She gave a lot of information to do my part. There you go. There you go. Let's see here. Why is it so slow? Switch in the comments. There we go. They say put a few pennies in a Ziploc. And we were talking about that. Remember one of the lives we were talking about that before. And that's weird. I forgot about that. That's a good one to try. But just to read it out, put a few pennies in a Ziploc bag filled with water and hang a few around the area, and it's supposed to repel flies. There's also cow tags and fly traps, but some of those stink bad. Yeah. With the fly trap, people will make the mistake of hanging a fly trap right outside their dog kennel. The objective of the fly trap is it attracts flies and kills them. So you want to hang it away from where you and your dogs are going to be. And then the cattle tags are a deterrent. So keep the cattle tags close to you and the dogs, the fly traps away from you and your dogs. Not so far that you just are catching flies that wouldn't have been bothersome in the first place. That smell attracts the flies to the fly trap. So you want to have that at the other end of your property, depending on how far it is. But again, make sure you hang the fly traps away. I've never read the instructions on them, but I'm sure it probably gives you good instructions and directions on that. And you're noticing they're hanging the fly trap right outside the dog kennel. Fly trap needs to go away from, be hung away from, need to be around the dogs. Mixed my red bag of Victor with the Ocean Fish Victor bags works awesome. I haven't tried that one. I actually have not tried Victor. I've always stuck with the same pedigree, which is pedigree of 3 in 1. Every now and then, let's see here. I'm assuming he's probably bringing down the protein level. My chocolate female is popping late, and I don't have a problem with that because the structure is intact. There you go. I got my male to take care of the girth. There you go. And that's where we're at right now. one of the reasons everybody assumed when we got King that the Thors were just going to be breeding these big, huge, tall ass dogs. The reason we got King is because we didn't like the temperament and the drives that we were seeing in the American Bully. We didn't like the allergy issues we were seeing in the American Bully. So we knew we wanted XLs, not standards. By getting King, he helps us guarantee that now we can focus on, that we've been able to focus on, you know, structure, temperament, all these things, the ability of the dog without losing size. So in King's offspring, King and Cardi's offspring, King and not Mia. Why am I forgetting the names of our dogs? What's her little evil ass's name? I can't think of, my mind just went black. But anyway, in King's offspring, we've gotten well-balanced dogs. None of them have been as tall as King. King is pushing like 27 inches. But he's wide, boned up. But none of them have been as tall as King, so they come down based off who they're bred to. But every now and then he kicks a dog that's almost as tall as him. And so now it's just about bringing it down, getting it all together. But yeah, we started off with a huge dog so that we could focus on other things without falling into the standard class. And also King's temperament was you know, several things we saw with his dad where he would come across with dogs, great disposition, and we wanted to bring that in, knowing that a large dog is tend to going to be a lower driven dog, lower energy. But so that's why we made sure we had driven females that also carried mass, bone, muscle, etc. Let's see here. So tell about the two new dogs you got from Mythic Bullies, Mythic Moon Bullies. Yes, so both through their moms have heavy gray line, blue line, some watchdog, iron cross. But the dogs exude, they exude gray line, straight up. Well, the female that we got, she exudes gray line. The male we got from Mystic Moon is, his mom is also watchdog gray line, heavy watchdog gray line influenced blood. His dad is off of four-time grand champion Dooley. Dooley's one of my favorite dogs in the game. So it's perfect to, especially when it comes to structure in the show ring. So his dad is four-time grand champion Dooley from Primo Lines. So shout out to Fred Duran. His great-grandfather was also a grand champion, which was grand champion Saki Bomb, who was also owned by Fred Duran. And so to me, it was just a breeding that was perfect, taking the gray line influence along with the show influence and bringing that together. So it was just a perfect breeding to bring into our fold and get these a direction that further in the direction that we want to go. But I'm excited. I can't wait to watch him grow. I wish he was grown already. I'm excited. Female we got, she's another one, great energy. The more she's getting used to me and my son and being here, you know, she's just doing great. I love her energy. She started the flirt pole for the first time this morning. She did great with that. She couldn't figure out why I was waving the stick around. She kept looking at the lure, but she was tripping off the stick. So once I took it off the stick, got her used to the lure, played a little tug of war, and bam, I went ahead and hooked it back on the pole. But she's doing great. She's got some habits. So like for instance, grabbing the lure. When I getting the lure from her, kind of got to watch her bite. So she's got some habits that right now I'm kind of being careful of because I don't want to discipline her yet. She has been disciplined twice and did well with it, but I'm watching being strong with her. So I'm kind of letting her slip on, you know, a few things. By next week, I'll start to dominate whatever I'm grabbing with my hand, and I'll take the chance. If she gets my hand, she just gets it. But now we're going to start getting into the discipline aspects. But right now, I want to hold off on doing too much discipline with her and get her more comfortable with me since she's a older dog. But she'll be, 2 in August. How's Cardi Bull feel about them? She hates them. She's a little cool with the pup. So when she first started off, I'm not going to lie, she walked past the thing with the kennel that the pup is in. And when he poked his nose, she went for him. So she got in trouble for that. The older female, she been trying to line up a fight with her. As of yesterday, she's gotten to the point where now she'll walk by without, trying to initiate a fight. She also went through a mode where she would see the female and she starts stalking her and then get ready to make a charge at her. So she's now getting to the point where she's a little cooler. Where she's at least willing, because she's got to walk past them to go out the front door to use the bathroom. So that was turning into her trying to start a fight every single time. Now she's gotten to the point where she'll walk past them without paying them any attention. Probably tomorrow morning, my son and I will probably get up while it's cool. But anyway, one way, tomorrow morning or tomorrow evening, we're going to take the two of them for a walk together and start building that bond between them. And eventually, we'll get them to where they're together. Haven't decided if I'm going to muzzle them first and see how that goes. Because the thing with Cardi is there is no snapping. When she goes all out, she goes all out off the jump. So we have to be delicate with it because I don't want nothing. Cardi's a force to be reckoned with, and I don't want her breaking the spirits of the other dog, which she has the ability to do within seconds. So we'll take it on a gradual. Probably wait till we get into the new house and get the finish the fencing, and then we'll probably try some off-leash work. But we'll figure out whether we're gonna muzzle her or not to see how things go. So I'm just making that walk very delicate. But the new pup, I think she's pretty much is ready to be around because he's even ran up to her a couple times through the dog gate, and we have it's kind of like it looks like wrought iron dog gate, not the ones where they can fit their nose in between it, and. He's licked her a couple times, and she just kind of looks at him like, "Don't touch me." But other than that, she's cool with the puppy. But the other female, she has been waiting for her chance to take a shot at her. G-Line, bring down the protein, and I have no stool problem. Yeah, I agree. For flies, if you feed outside, pull the food and put it up once they're done eating and clean up the messes. That will help not attract flies. Yeah, you need to clean on a regular basis when it comes to flies. Eating food outside definitely attracts flies. Even from just the point, you can put dry kibble outside. It will still attract flies, especially when your dog eats a little bit, leaves a little slobber behind. Now it's a little moist. It will attract flies. Best thing is to always put the food up when the dogs are done eating. If you had to recreate the American Bully, what dogs would you use and what purpose would you give them? What would you breed them to do? I would use the same breeds. I think they used great breeds to create the American Bully. I just think they used bad versions of those breeds. So rather than getting a good Rottweiler, they used terrible Rottweilers. Rather than getting a good Pressa, they use terrible Pressas, terrible King Corsos, and the list goes on. American Bulldogs, they use terrible versions. I would have started off with breeds that were known. If I'm going to use a Rottweiler, I'm going to use a Rottweiler that's good that's truly vested in protection. I'm going to use an American Bulldog, and I want to get one that's actually doing some hunting, or doing some catch work, etc. But I think structurally, they use good breeds, but use the worst of the breeds. And that's why we have so many issues. If I was going to give the American Bully a purpose, I would go along the lines probably of protection. I think there are American Bullies that will excel in catch work. But since we're saying for the breed type, we want a thicker dog, thicker bone, thicker muscle, then what I would do is go along the lines of protection for the American Bully and focus the dog on those traits, being protective, but at the same time also being able to get along with strangers, things like that. That would have been my focus with the American Bully. So not necessarily a band dog level of protection, but just a dog that will back up its bark. And that would have been what I ran with. You know, Bull Mastiff is one of the greatest protection dogs it is. They tend to get along with strangers, but at the same time, they ain't playing no games with nobody. And I would have ran the American Bully. You know, that would have been my direction with the American Bully. So I don't have a problem with the breeds they use. I don't think I would change that. I would just change the dogs of those breeds that they use. I would use better quality of those breeds, not just breeding for big heads and all that stuff. And you can care that this Cane Corso that you used has a high rear with pasterns and things like that. Yeah, what's up, Mr. J? Thanks for joining in. But definitely, you guys like and share. You got some Iron Cross blood that was BGK started with, and you got that gray line in, and that's dope. Yeah, the Iron. I've heard some things about Iron Cross as a person, but I think they do have some good dogs. I know it is rumored that they used a lot of Pressa in their breedings and their creation of their version of the American Bully. I'm cool with that. But yeah, BGK got started through a lot of the Iron Cross blood, and you know, and it's watered down. A lot of times we say, "Oh, there's Pressa in it," and well, I'm not sure if I want Pressa in my version of the American Bully. Well, the truth is that Pressa is like 7 to 10 generations back, so it's not a factor, especially in a breed that's been bred for aesthetics. So, but the Pressa is a great dog, you know. So I don't know. I've never seen what presses they use, so I don't know how they were built. But we're in a phase right now with the Bully where we're all trying to create a better dog than what was handed to us. But yeah, I like what I've seen with Iron Cross. Cardi Bull also has some Iron Cross in her. Let's see here. What else we got? His COI coefficient of inbreeding is at 22. So he'll put his stamp in my females. There you go. COI, I think people get a little too worried about. COI, for those that don't know, is coefficient of inbreeding. And it's basically letting you know the percentage that it's at. They could be high or low. They try to say that the average dog should be right around 10. I think they say 9 or 10. But the truth is, the minute you have a breed, it's automatically going to be higher than that. So there's a lot of discrepancies with the concept of the coefficient of inbreeding. I think it is something that's good for people to understand and watch out for when it comes to inbreedings within your dogs. You know, just a dog that appears in your bloodline a little too much. But I don't think it's as worrisome as some people tend to feel. But I promise one of the best dog food I've bought this far. I absolutely agree. Build the bonds and trust first, then comes discipline. Yeah. Bond before anything is always a lifetime of trust. Exactly. And that's why I want her. There's little things with her I notice which will kind of duck for things. So I think I just want her to get used, you know. So I'm letting her kind of get away with murder right now. And then next week is when I'll start, you know, bringing in the discipline. But first I'll start establishing boundaries, and then I'll start backing up those boundaries with discipline. She's coming along. The 2 times I have had the discipline, and she dealt with it very well. Like, well, like I didn't raise you, and this is my new territory too. Exactly. You know what I mean? So, you know, so it's gonna be weird to move into the new house because then they're gonna kind of be equals moving in there together. So that'll be interesting to watch if there is a dynamic with moving in. But right now, yeah. And see, and that's the thing. So in the hunting house, we had one bedroom, which the new female is in. And then I got my dad and my uncle's bedroom. So all their stuff is in there. And so I don't mess with anything there. So since we've been here, we've got one couch in the living room and 3 recliners. So me and my son have just been sleeping on the recliners. And Cardi Bull has been sleeping on the middle recliner between both of us. But because I can't trust her with the other dog, I think I can trust her with the pup. But with the other dog, I can't trust her. She's had to stay in the kitchen now. And so that's, so she hasn't been on the recliner since, the other 2 dogs have. But she had the recliner to herself for a while and she started acting up. And I need to get to sleep, so I can't be worried with sleeping with one eye open and keeping my eye on her. And then she'll go in a big burst or she'll go and stalk. So because you want to stalk means I can't trust you. So she got to stay she's staying in the kitchen now. So hopefully before we move it back and we move into the new house, she's able to sleep on the recliner once again, and we can trust her. Check out the ingredients, you'll see what I'm talking about. One way to keep flies off your dogs is wash them. One way to keep flies off your dogs is to wash them first, then saturate the whole body in apple cider vinegar. I guarantee it works for 2 days. Yeah, I'm a big fan of apple cider vinegar and peroxide washes, and just letting it soak in their skin and fur. I also put apple cider vinegar in their water. Garlic is also a great deterrent in their food. But yeah, letting that apple cider vinegar just soak on their fur for a few minutes before you rinse it off. I get down before you rinse it off is definitely a great deterrent for all pests. Let's see here, Mr. J. Darryl, what do you think of mixing grain-free and grain-based kibble to create a reduced grain-type food? I think if you need to, that's cool. I don't think I would do it just to do it. If your dog is fine on grain food, then cool. King, for about in the first year of his life, first 8 months to a year of his life, was allergic to grain. He was having reactions with grain food. So he was switched to non-grain. Now, after that, he's fine. After about that first 8 months, he's been fine. I feel if you don't need to keep something from your dog, don't keep it from him. So if your dog is fine on grain-free, then cool. Now, let's say you notice grain is causing the dog to break out. It's having an allergic reaction. If you can try to just mix it half and half, try it. And if that works, cool. If you have to back off the grain totally, then you're going to have to back off the grain totally. But I'm a firm believer in trying to make sure that we feed our dogs the things that dogs have always ate, and grain was one of those in their food. But also try a diet that boosts the immune system to see how that works. You may not have to back off of the grain. I missed what you said about changing for subscription, about charging for subscriptions. Oh, well, some of the YouTube channels you have a subscription charge. So like with Raul, for the people who paid for his subscriptions, and I'm not sure I worded that right, but he had paid members. For those who are paid members, he does a little bit more for those individuals. I just haven't gotten into that and don't really plan on it. We're talking just dogs. Iron Cross got some decent dogs. Presso or not, it doesn't bother me. I don't know much about their temperament, though. Iron Cross has been known to have some dogs that can be somewhat hot. And it's always blamed on the breast that they were supposedly using. So far from what I've seen of Iron Cross's dogs, I like the energy. I haven't seen any real issues or heard of any real issues. Every now and then you hear somebody say something, but there's nothing that seems to be specific. But yeah, I like what I've seen coming from Iron Cross, BGK, etc., and the temperament of the dogs, and the energy, and the willingness to be conditioned, the purpose drive that you see in them. That's what I'm a fan of. When you think you're going to open to the public, sell to breeders? It's not that we are anti-selling to breeders now. It's just that we kind of have a lot of people who know us outside of the bully community that want dogs from us. So, promoting and selling online just hasn't really been an issue. I would say, though, we will probably be gravitating into it within the next year or two. I would say within the next year or two, we'll probably be gravitating into more of, I guess the advertisement and then seeing who responds. But for right now, it just hasn't been an issue. Hopefully it never is. But it's not that we're anti-selling to breeders, not that we're anti-selling, to the general public, to the online general public. It's just it hasn't been a necessity, and because of us also being new with this new breed, it's a lot easier when we're able to sell dogs to friends, family members, people who hear of us through word of mouth, and our normal clientele, because then we're able to keep an eye on what's going on. Hey, Blue, cut it out. We're able to keep an eye on the dogs and their development. We're able to hear stories about them rather than selling to somebody on the internet and they just disappear and you never hear anything about the dog. So that's kind of our preference for right now because, like I said, it's a new breed. We're new to the breed. I think we've been here for 5 years now? And our oldest litter is actually only about 2.5. So we've only really been doing this haven't really been doing this for a long time. So it's good to be able to watch the dogs. Dang, why does it keep jumping around? There we go. Castle True Pressure Temperament is amazing and socialized early. Yes, I agree 100%. But see, a lot of times what happens is people aren't socializing these dogs. They're just locked in kennels waiting to be bred or sold. And we miss out on traits that we could correct in the temperament of the dog and traits we could, breed for in the temperaments of the dog. I was forced into the exotic lane with my female shade. Cut it out. She's just a little short. That's all it is. Let's see. What do you mean, G-Line Kennel? Yeah, he got him a short dog. Okay. Hey, but if her structure's on point, don't sleep on your shorter dogs. And taking her to, medium to taller size pocket. And you might get that compactness that you want. So don't sleep on her just because she's short. I have a boy that's 13 at the Withers with a 15-inch and 16-inch dogs, but he was line bred, so maybe they did a line breeding or her grandparents. That could be true. But line breeding or inbreeding can cause, especially if there's been line breeding, it can cause you to get a shorter, stockier dog. But if she's got good conformation, don't sleep on her just because she's short. She might be able to bring a lot to the table. Yeah, she's bred real tight, so there you go. That's what it was. My boy Pocket, though. All the way. I believe a lot of micro-exotic breeders are trying to breed miniature bullies. They are. I've noticed it. Is there any way to achieve this? Is it possible to create a miniature American bully? That's funny. That's a topic right now. As far as what I've seen called the miniature, I don't believe in creating something called the, how should I say this? To me, the pocket is the miniature American bully. So, because pocket, XL, those aren't dog terms. So the pocket really is the miniature American bully. So to try to mix another breed with pockets to create a smaller American bully and they call that the miniature American Bully, I don't think is the way things should be done. And because you bred this other breed into it to make it smaller, therefore it's no longer American Bully. Just because it looks like it, don't make it. You know what I mean? So if you got an American Bully and you bred a Frenchie to it or an exotic to it to create a smaller dog, then you no longer have Frenchie and you no longer have American Bully. You may still have exotic, but you definitely don't have Frenchie. You definitely don't have American Bully. And just because it's showing American Bully traits to turn and say, okay, we're going to call it American Bully, to me is not correct. And the truth is, the pocket is the miniature American Bully. So that's just my opinion on it. I'll leave it at that. Probably when they can't do nothing. Yeah, you get to a certain size, there's not much you can do. I also have Presses. She, my service dog for my daughter, though. For her to have that because a lot of times Presses are extremely driven and have a lot of energy, so that's dope. Better off starting with Amstaff and Pit Bull to get a first generation American Bully, then breed to. Well, the Amstaff is so close. The Amstaff is a watered down Pit Bull. Now, after 80 years, there's a slightly different look. Amstaff has a little bit more bone and slightly different temperament. But the truth is, if you cross a Pit Bull and an Amstaff, you're not going to get an American Bully. You're just going to get an Amstaff all over again. Because you're definitely not going to get a Pit Bull. When they started that rumor of the American Bully was created by breeding Amstaff and Pit Bull, they were either incorrect or they were lying to us. You can't breed the Amstaff to the Pit Bull to create a new breed. All you're going to end up doing is creating another Amstaff because it's just that's what an Amstaff is, a watered down Pit Bull. Then breed to other, but I would say I would take a well-bred Amstaff and I would start going from there if I was going to recreate it, looking for the American Bully. American Bulldog has great specimens. I don't know. I think, in my opinion, American Bullies breeders were using a lot of the Johnson. I would probably use a little bit of Johnson and focus more on the Scott. A little bit of Johnson for the mass, and then focus more on the Scott. I think the Borbell would have had a lot to bring to the American Bully. The oldie, you get the right oldie, they have a lot to bring to the American Bully. So there's definitely ways to, if you want to, the stud books are still open. So if you wanted to recreate the dog, you definitely could. The dogs are there. You just got to pick good specimens within the, hey, say, why you scratching your foot like that? You just got to pick good specimens. And I think that's where they messed up. They picked the right breeds, but they used terrible specimens. I have a midget dog, too. Oh, man. You can't do shit. Depends on what you do with them. You can take them rabbit hunting. I'd have to say Mr. Daryl Thor is the epitome of an old school term of real dog man, truly about the dogs, and would rather please give away a dog to preserve the blood rather than say, oh yeah, I want it's got to be right if I put it in somebody's home. I hear so many breeders with these horror stories coming from their dogs, and I think of the 30, 40 years I've been dealing with dogs. I don't have no horror stories. Not one single one. I have horror stories because, when I was breeding dogs that were extremely driven or gang driven, one got loose and got a hold of another one. But as far as having dogs that bit, their owners, I don't have those stories in my history. And I do have stories of my dogs biting intruders. I have stories of my dogs protecting junkyards, businesses. I have stories of my dogs attacking abusive ex-boyfriends and abusive boyfriends. Those are stories that I have with the dogs that I've produced in the past. So the last thing I can imagine is getting involved in bullies of all breeds. And all of a sudden I got a dog that bit its owner. Well, whereas I've had all these high-driven dogs and it's never been an issue. High-driven, defensive, protective dogs, and it's never been an issue. And so the last thing I'm going to do is get involved in bullies and let them ruin my legacy when it comes to dogs. So I think we just all have to be smart. I think we all have to be willing to walk away from some dogs. We have to be willing to not breed some dogs. Some dogs are the greatest addition to our family, but it don't mean they need to be bred. I think we just have to be smart with that and disciplined within ourselves as breeders. I have a midget pit though; she'll hurt a pocket. Oh man! So my boy Normal Pocket Boy to my midget will fix it. I would assume it would, because here's the thing: like you were saying, that the dog was heavy line bred, so the blood's tightening up, causing the dog to be shorter. That's all that is. Dog tends to get bulky. If you guys have seen my Jack Russell, she was a heavy line bred inbred Jack Russell and built like a bully, muscled up, boned up, and had to drive through the roof. But her build and structure came from her being heavy line bred and inbred. She was there to preserve that line of Jack Russells, working Jack Russells. The idea was to outcross her to a totally unrelated working Jack Russell to open back up the blood. So if you take your midget dog that's tightly line bred, and then you outcross her or him to a dog that is not related or is distantly related, you will be opening that blood back up, and therefore you will more than likely bring the height back up. Even if you happen to breed it to a dog that was of the same height, opening up that blood will tend to bring back some of the height that you're looking for. So if you breed to a dog, you're looking at what I think you said the dog was 12 to 13 inches, or you said 11 to 12, where the bully starts at 14. So as long as you breed to a pocket that fits within that 14 to 17 inch range, and the pocket is unrelated to your female or extremely distantly related, you'll be opening up the blood and you'll get the height back that you're looking for within one breeding. It's not going to be something that you have to focus on. Just make sure it's your first breeding and you should be straight. There's how my boy's low to the floor as well. He's right on the verge of pocket micro and super thick. There you go. See, you might have something that you want to utilize. You know, it's just short. You figure most of the show breeders in the bully community breed to the lower end. Your XL is supposed to be 20 to 23 inches. They breed to like 20 to 21 inches. They're avoiding 22. The standard is supposed to be from 17 to 20 inches. They're breeding right around that 18, 19 level because they want to keep that mass on the shorter end of the dog. Same thing with the pocket. So most of the bully community breeds on the shorter end of whatever class they breed. So you might have something. You might have lucked up on something. I'll take a clean shorty bull and clean pocket to make a miniature bully. I think the shorty bull will work wonders when it comes to the exotic, or even, you know, if you wanted to create the miniature American bully. And that's the thing, because, you know, when it comes to the shorty bull, Jamie Sweet, who is the creator of the shorty bull, she came from working dogs. She truly understands dogs, and she's looking for a temperament of a dog that has desire to work. That's what impresses her. So even though she's got the shorty bull, which is not a working breed, she likes to have that desire in her dogs. So I think what she's doing with the shorty bull is a great thing. Just take her to a taller male, as in the pocket, cutoff point, exactly. And you may not have to go that tall. You may not have to hit that 17-inch mark or that 16.5-inch mark due to the fact you're opening up the blood. And you know the reason that the dog is so short is because of the blood being tight. And looks like that's it. So I want to thank you guys for joining back in. We'll be back Tuesday. Next Tuesday, finishing up the Temperament Series. I will try to get the scheduling out a little earlier so you guys know exactly what drive we'll be discussing in. Other than that, salute to all of y'all. Thanks for joining in. And thanks to you guys who also help and provide answers to the questions that people have, especially because I tend to be 10, 15, 20, even 30 minutes behind. Other than that, I'm out. Salute to you guys. Thanks for joining in. It never just shuts down. It always leaves me hanging. I could be digging in my nose or something right now. You guys will be seeing it.